for all workers. Well, coming up in today's show, we're breaking down fibroids, what causes them and how to treat them. Then it's all about Cinco de Mayo as we raise a glass with Commonwealth Brewery, and the perfume bar is in studio with some sensational scents you won't want to miss. All that and more right after the break. You're watching What's Trending.
Keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Nestled in the Moss-Town settlement, Bahamaland Farms is making waves on Exuma's local agricultural scene with its dedication to cultivating high-quality fresh lettuce.
Romaine, as everybody knows as well, iceberg lettuce. We do want to continue to grow different species of lettuce, not just stick to the same main three. At some point, we do want to start growing, like I said, tomatoes, onions, different forms of herbs, mint leaf, all these different forms of produce.
Crop Supervisor Kimani Clark also shares what the farm hopes to achieve in the future.
Now, another thing that we wanted to get into is building hydroponic systems in schools and have shown them how to maintain it and so on and so forth, so they could have that not so normal agriculture experience in school. Most classes in agriculture, they don't get to experience the hydroponic way of high-tech way of growing produce and so on and so forth. So that's another thing we're looking at for the time.
The farm has become a key supplier for local restaurants, promoting farm-to-table dining and enhancing food sustainability on the island.
We've been mainly focusing on well-known restaurants and hotels such as Ranald's, Tim's on the Bay, Peace and Plenty, Coco Plum Bistro, so on and so forth. We do want to expand to a lot more small local business. Any local business that needs produce, we want to expand and focus on them as well.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
They can grow in silence, disrupt your life, and go undiagnosed for years. For millions of women, especially Black women, fibroids aren't just a medical issue. They're a battle with pain, with healthcare, and with being heard. Today on What's Trending, Dr. Mikhail Higgins joins us to expose the truth about fibroids and why the time to talk about them is now. Welcome to the show, Dr. Higgins.
Thank you, Dominica. Pleasure having me. Thank you.
It's great to have you here with us. So, Dr. Higgins, those who may not be familiar, tell us what exactly are fibroids and how common are they?
Yeah, so thank you. So fibroids are benign muscular tumors that occur in and throughout the uterus. And so if you imagine your bicep is a muscle. If you were to take that bicep and put that in the uterus, the womb, it could possibly sprout blood vessels from the uterus. That would be the equivalent of a fibroid.
And how common are they?
So they're particularly common, and as you alluded to, women of African descent, Black women, are the ones that are most predisposed to having them, and typically about 8 to 90% of women of African descent can have them at one point during their reproductive journey.
That's a large number. So why do fibroids seem to be trending in health conversations today? Is it the growing awareness about them?
Yeah, so I think we don't talk about them enough, because I think it's actually a bit of a silent epidemic. You know, when you think about, you know, a group of 10 women, and to think that 8 to 9 of them either have fibroids currently, have had fibroids at one point during their reproductive journey, or will have them in the future, we should probably be talking about them a lot more. One of the biggest issues, I think, about fibroids now is the issues of fertility. What we know is that fibroids can basically complicate pregnancy, cause problems in pregnancy about 40% of the time.
So what causes fibroids? Are there clear risk factors that people should be aware of?
Yeah, so there's sort of the nature versus the nurture. When we think about nature, they grow because of a genetic predisposition. You talked about women of African descent, 80 to 90%, white women about 50 to 60%, Asian women about 23% of the time, and about Latinas about 30 to 40% of the time. So genetics is really the game changer. Either you have the genes or you don't.
And what are some of the most common symptoms of it? Can a person tell in terms of the difference in their cycle, changes from normal normal to like abnormal?
Right. So great question. So I would say, you know, when you think about that 80 to 90% of women of African descent who have them, I would say probably about 30 to 40% of those women are symptomatic to the degree where they know something is wrong.
And in terms of the current treatment options for fibroids, have they evolved over the years?
Certainly so, and certainly, you know, and this is sort of one of the things that I want to sort of make aware. You know, historically, women have had the option to suffer in silence, okay, or do what? An invasive surgery, okay? And that invasive surgery could be one of two things. Parting with the uterus in the form of a hysterectomy, okay? Their womb, their ability to sort of be fruitful and multiply, which is obviously a deal breaker for someone who wants to have a family, or someone who doesn't want to be out for 10, 12 weeks. Then the other option is a myomectomy. A myomectomy is designed to sort of, you know, it's still a cesarean section scar, which is a very long scar, where they sort of attempt to pluck out each individual fibroid. However, we now know that obviously there is a non-surgical, minimally invasive option, which is the option that I introduced to the Bahamas in 2021, which is called the uterine artery embolization. This is a procedure that's been sort of around since 1995 in France, and in the US since 1996. So this is a procedure where I don't sort of basically trim fibroids or find the ones. I basically attack the entire blood supply to neutralize the entire blood supply of the entire network. It's almost, if you imagine Christmas lights are on a Christmas tree and you unplug all of the lights at the same time. They all go out, whether they're big lights or small lights. And so that's what we do in terms of the embolization.
So if there is one thing that you want our audience to take away from this conversation, what would it be? It would be is that you have an option to receive a non-surgical, minimally invasive treatment that will leave you literally without a scar. The incision is about the size of a grain of rice in your groin. You'll be back to work within 7 to 10 days typically, and it's a procedure that treats all of your fibroids. There's little to no recurrence unless you sort of have 15 years where you're looking at recurrence, so 8 to 15 years would be sort of the typical recurrence rate, and most of the women that present to me are usually 35 and older, in which case the recurrence rate is close to 0. Oh, definitely great information there. So fibroids are common, but silent suffering doesn't have to be. Thank you so much, Dr. Higgins, for shedding light and giving voice to so many women. Well, this Saturday, downtown Bay Street will come alive as the Tourism Development Corporation's Bites on Base food truck and pop-up market happens. Small businesses, particularly the food truck space, along with other exhibitions, will give tourists and Bahamians alike a literal taste of the islands at this month-end event. Dwight Gibson is the operations manager for TDC.
Bites on Bay is becoming a signature product for TDC. Last month was our first food truck pop-up, which we did on Charlotte Street North. We're doing it again this Saturday coming, 12 to 8. The idea behind this is to give our foodies an opportunity to taste the culture of the Bahamas. And so it's geared towards our tourists and local market. Last month we had a great turnout from both sides. Tourists coming out of the cruise port loved the fact that it was right there on Charlotte Street. They were able to access the food trucks and some of our vendors. So both food culture and Bahamian arts and crafts. And this month we're going to be doing the same thing again. It will be a monthly event that we're going to host downtown, building up to the creation of our food truck park, which is going to be more permanent in the downtown space.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
You
you've got termites and need to get rid of them fast, trust Rent-A-Kill Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rent-A-Kill Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rent-A-Kill Initial.
Diet-friendly special.
Summer in the Bahamas. The weather is hot, but not as hot as the ZNS summer packages. Get ads on ZNS TV or ZNS Radio Network or the TV community page, or a combination of all three. ZNS has got you covered with great prices, whatever package you choose. Book before June 7th and get the local Federation Championship Baseball bonus full of all kinds of extras free of charge. Contact your account executive or call ZNS Sales at 502-3800 today. Hot summer package rates valid until July 31st.
It's the fiesta we didn't know we needed. Sunshine, tequila, and serious vibes. Cinco de Mayo is almost here, and Commonwealth Brewery Limited is bringing the flavor, the fun, and the fizz. From exclusive drink specials to unforgettable events, they're serving up more than just beer. They're serving a celebration, so grab your sombreros because this party is just getting started. In studio from Commonwealth Brewery Limited to tell us about their Cinco de Mayo events for the week is Giante Miller. Welcome to What's Trending, Giante.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here with us. So tell us what Cinco de Mayo means to CBL. Why is this celebration important for your brand?
Cinco de Mayo to CBL is an opportunity for us to showcase our tequila brands like Jose Cuervo, Milagro, Volcan, and Casamigos. It's an opportunity for us to create an event around the Mexican heritage.
So what can people expect from your Cinco de Mayo promotions this year? Any new products or limited time offers?
So in our 700 wines and spirits stores nationwide this weekend from Friday, May 2nd to Monday, May 5th, we're going to have discounts on all of the tequila brands. Everything is going to, be slashed, not necessarily in half, but we're going to have great deals on them all nationwide.
So talk to us about any events that are upcoming. Is it just one day or you have several events planned around the Cinco de Mayo?
We have several events planned. On Sunday, we're going to have an activation. It's going to be at Bahama at the kitchen. It's called Tacos and Tequilas, and we're going to be featuring our Casamigos tequilas along with the mixologist, Mr. Mix. And then we're going to have some good, tacos and Mexican food by Chef Tevin. And so that'll happen at 4 p.m. And you can find more information on our Facebook or Instagram page, rather, CBL Events.
And then I think there's another one on the big day, of course.
Well, yes. So on Monday, May 5th, we're going to have a activation at Twisted Lime. That's going to start at 5 p.m. And we're going to have Mexican dancers. We're going to have the Mexican music. We're going to bring the vibes. We're going to have some Jose Cuervo specialty cocktails, Jose Cuervo food pairings, and we're just going to have a ball. I'm so excited.
A great time. So what would someone who's never attended a Cinco de Mayo event be in for? What makes the party special?
Girl, if you have never experienced the Cinco de Mayo celebration, you are in for a treat. So we're going to combine celebration, good times, along with Mexican heritage, along with tequila pairings, Mexican food, and we're just going to bring the vibes.
Sounds like a lot of fun, but a lot of vibes as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So with all the fun and festivities, how is Commonwealth Brewery promoting responsible drinking?
Responsible drinking is very important to Commonwealth Brewery, so we ensure that we partner along with, venues that promote drinking in moderation, as well as we also help promote mocktails and non-alcoholic options.
Yes, that's fair enough. So once again, where can people get details on your promotions and events that are upcoming?
On our Instagram page, CBL Events, we have all the flyers there, and we'll be posting the latest information.
Awesome. So great drinks, good vibes, and unforgettable memories. That's how CBL does Cinco de Mayo. Don't miss the parties this weekend. Thank you again, Giante, for joining us in studio. I see you brought a few friends of the show with you as well, but we're going to get into that on the other side of the break. We have Mr. Mix making our happy hour a little more interesting with tequila. Stay with us.
Join us on Social Mania, a new and dynamic game show based on the Ministry of Education's primary and junior high school social studies curriculum. Students from schools across the Bahamas go head-to-head as their knowledge of social studies is challenged. In this episode, Gambier Primary battles with Sadie Curtis Primary School. Which school will emerge as winner? To find out, join us as these two schools engage in intense competition. Don't miss it.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like in our communities, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marlena Leonard and LaDon Davis. 7:30, Monday to Friday. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
It's bold, it's smooth, and it knows how to party. We're talking about tequila just in time for Cinco de Mayo. We're shaking things up with some sizzling mixed drink recipes that bring the fiesta to your glass. Whether you like it classic or with a twist, these cocktails will have you saying salud in no time. Marv Cunningham, see, get me tongue twisted already. Mr. Mix is here to show us how to spike our Cinco de Mayo up. Welcome to What's Trending, or should I say welcome back to What's Trending, Marv?
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Very festive time.
So tequila is the star of today's show. What makes it such a perfect spirit for Cinco de Mayo celebrations?
Well, you know, there's a lot of history, deep-rooted history in Cinco de Mayo. You know, it's a celebration that an outnumbered Mexican army took on the French, you know, May 5th, 1862. So, you know, the world is celebrating with Mexico. You know, in Mexico, right now they're having festivals, you know, but the rest of the world.
So what's the first drink you're going to be mixing for us today, and what makes it special?
What makes it special is tequila. So we're going to start with Jose Cuervo Gold. This is a great introductory tequila for, you know, margaritas. This is known as a mixed out tequila.
Okay.
So we'll start off.
And you say you're making what for us?
This is a mango rosemary margarita.
Sounds a little spicy, but anyway, tell us, walk us through.
I'm excited.
We know you could work and make.
Yes.
So let's see what going into this rosemary margarita. So you start off with Jose
Cuervo Gold. Then we have some orange liqueur, some triple sec preferably. Then we'll be adding some mango rosemary puree.
Okay.
This is our sweetening agent.
Mm-hmm.
And next, we'll be adding our acidic agent, which is freshly squeezed lime juice.
So you're saying that the mango is the standout, or the tequila is the standout?
Well, what's good about margarita, it's a harmonious blend, a combination of ingredients that, you know, really makes it stand out. You know, the tequila stands out, but, you know, it's the combination of ingredients. Originally, the classic margarita is not a sweet cocktail. So, you know, if you're going to a bar and you prefer your margaritas a little sweeter, then, you know, be sure to ask your bartender or your server to make it a little... Let them know. Right, let them know.
Okay, so I'll try this one. Remind us the name again?
This is a mango rosemary margarita made with Jose Cuervo Gold.
Rosemary margarita. That's nice, and I see you salted the rim of the glass.
Yes.
I like it. So it's going to be number 2.
So number 2.
You're on a roll.
You're on a roll. Is a guava, spicy guava margarita made with Milagro Reposado.
You sound like you like this little spicy trend going on, but we can see.
Yes.
Talk to us about the Reposado.
The Reposado. So the Reposado tequila is aged between 8 and 12 years. It's different than the gold. It's different than the white and the Añejo. So you get a lot of vanilla, caramel, spice notes on the Reposado that pairs perfectly with fruits, which, you know, this has a little, it doesn't have the peach, it doesn't have the peach taste, but it has similarities of peach once it's mixed with the fruit.
Okay, I gotcha.
Good. So 2 ounces.
Okay. Looking like a lot, but anyway. You can see what this Reposado gonna do.
Right. The spicy guava puree. And the spice is not from the jalapeno that is traditionally used to spice the margaritas. It's from our very own
the goat pepper.
Yeah, goat pepper.
All right, so this sounds like this have a kick.
It has a kick. Not an inaugural kick, but a kick. Some triple sec. And of course, fresh lime juice. Fresh is always best.
And obviously lime will go in most of these.
Yes, every single one.
Okay.
So we're going to give this a good shake. So you
and what's rimmed on this glass?
Salt as well.
So we ain't no sugar. We're keeping it salty.
Keeping it salty. You know, and like I said, you can build your margaritas.
Okay. Even though some people like it like that, it's all the way in the person.
Of course. We can all get along. We can all get along and make some things happen.
This is good.
Glad you like that.
It's a nice sweet. Almost has a little tangy combination, but it's smooth. So what can be in this next?
So in this next one, we're taking it up a notch. We're taking it up a notch with Volcan. So we decided to take it up a notch because this is a premium tequila.
The fancy stuff.
The fancy stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, best enjoyed, you know, on the rocks, neat. But we decided if we're going to make a margarita with this, we're going to change the dynamics.
Okay.
We're not going to have any ice. We're not going to have any ice for this margarita. And we're going to use flavors that are not traditionally found in margaritas.
I ain't tried yet, but it sounds like it's going to be really good.
It's going to be really good.
Okay.
So 2 ounces of our Vulcan tequila, followed by our orange liqueur, which
has a
happens to
nice
be...
smell to it. Give it a good shake.
Yeah. Not as good as yours.
I appreciate that. I learn a little bit more every time you come.
Every little. Now go ahead, let me know.
Right.
Let me know.
I like this.
You like that?
I like that each one has had a different flavor.
Flavor profile, right?
And spin on the drink, and yet you have another one. This is the final one.
This is the final one.
All right, let's see.
Final countdown.
You're gonna take it up another notch over the margarita?
So, you know,
you like the party. This what Cinco de Mayo all about. So where we going?
Casamigos.
You can't miss the Casamigos. I got you.
So the aromas of vanilla, spices inside the Blanco, not spicy, but spice, a little spice. Like I said, citrus forward, the aromas. We're gonna kick this off with a cucumber margarita.
Okay.
2 ounces. And we have our cucumber syrup.
And your syrups and purees are items that you make yourself?
Yes. Okay. Fresh is always best. I mean, there's nothing wrong with store-bought if you can find it, but I mean...
It's easier.
Spending a little...
It keeps it indigenous.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, it keeps people, you know, wanting more and salivating, you know.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
We're going to see what you do with this final one, though.
Final one. Yeah, man. This is the final countdown. I'm going to let you pour. I'm going to let you pour this one right here into our Casamigos.
All right.
Nice.
Looks good.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we're going to
garnish.
Yes.
And cucumber, of course.
Cucumber slice. A lime wheel.
And you ready to go?
And you're ready to go.
All right.
Let me have
Let's
it.
see what the Casamigos got in store for us. Each one is different, but this is good.
That's it?
I don't know which one is my favorite one. I can eat all.
That's it?
I like all.
Good.
Always good.
So you're lucky enough to have a Cinco de Mayo tasting flight by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, from sweet to spicy tequila, just prove it's the life of the Cinco de Mayo party. Just to a good vibes, great cocktails, and celebrations worth sipping. Salud. We've covered what goes in the glass. Now let's talk about what goes on your skin. In this edition of Sensual Notes, the Perfume Bar is turning their attention to skincare. Fragrance may be their first love, but now the Perfume Bar is coming for your face in the best possible way. From flawless foundations to glow-boosting serums, they're rewriting the skincare script one at a time. So if your skin's been acting up, it's time to act out with a beauty routine that actually delivers. Terrell Bethel Kerr, store manager at the Perfume Bar, is here to tell us about the products they have to offer. Welcome to What's Trending, Terrell.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here with us. So you're known for fragrances, but now the Perfume Bar is diving into skincare and beauty. What inspired this expansion?
Well, we know once you look good, you feel good. And skin is a very important part for a female, the face.
Makes sense. So let's start with the Base Strokes foundation and cream to powder. What sets these apart from traditional foundations?
Well, with our Base Stroke foundations, you get a full coverage and a matte finish. For your uneven skin, it gives you the full coverage that you would need.
And there's a color for...
It's a color for everyone. So come on down and we will give you what you need.
So tell us about the Luxury Oil Blotting Pressed Powder. Who is this for and how does it perform in our warm climate?
Well, like it says, it's luxury, so it's the best. When you put it on, you get a nice matte finish and you get a full coverage.
That sounds good and that's important. So you also brought with you the full Flora Roberts Perfect Tone skincare system. What makes this line unique and effective for everyday use?
Well, what makes this line effective is you are enlightening the skin, it's not harmful, and it's for any skin type. So that's what's most effective about our brand.
That's a good combination. So let's break it down. How should someone use the Flora Roberts Perfect Tone cleanser and the skin prep as a part of their daily routine?
Well, the cleanser and you cleanse every day. With the skin prep, you prep at least twice out of that one day. So you're putting on your makeup first, your cleansers first, sorry, and then you're going to put on your foundation and powder.
Okay. And the oil-free hydrating gel with hyaluronic acid sounds like a must-have. So how does it work and who should be using it?
Well, people with excessively dry skin can use it because it adds that moisture that you're missing.
So it gives you that nice plump?
Yes.
Okay. So where can our viewers shop these products that you told us about today?
Well, I am located at the Mall at Marathon, and then we have another location at our Palmdale location. That's all we have.
So that's the Perfume Bar?
Yes, ma'am, the Perfume Bar.
Awesome. So glowing skin, perfected tune, and luxe formulas, the Perfume Bar just proved that skincare can be just as sensual as scent. Thank you so much for joining us today, Terrell. Now, stay tuned. There is more on the other side of the break.
If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
Diet-friendly special.
Your home is your sanctuary. The last thing you need to worry about is rodents. Once they enter your property, they can be tough to get out. If you're concerned about rodents, call Rent-A-Kill Initial. We offer the latest, most effective treatment for safe, fast, and long-lasting results. From prevention to elimination, our integrated approach guarantees protection. For rodent control you can trust, there's only one name in the Bahamas: Rent-A-Kill Initial.
And that's how we wrap up another trending day. Thanks for hanging with us here on What's Trending. Remember, the conversation never stops. Catch up with us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS. Share your thoughts and let us know what you think should be trending next. We'll be back on Monday at 6 p.m. with more headlines, highlights, and heats. Until then, stay curious and most of all, stay connected. Have a great weekend, everyone.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at stories making news tonight. Freeport Business Expo opens with a big turnout. Also, taxi union president sounds the alarm on illegal ride sharing. And brush fires flare up again in Abaco.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news, day one of the Freeport Business Expo Tourism Edition got off to a vibrant start as local and international vendors showcase unique products and services, aiming to spark collaboration and new opportunities for Grand Bahama's economic future. Our Raven Davis is there standing by live at the Grand Lucaine Resort. Raven, what can you tell us?
From the Freeport Business Expo Tourism Edition that actually just wrapped up moments ago, but what a successful and packed day one it's been. Of course, this event is brought to you by the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and the idea is to connect Bahamians with local and international vendors and the unique offerings that these vendors have that in many cases don't exist in the Bahamas. We're here, and as you can see, a lot of companies are represented here. Had a chance to visit K-Park Recreation, Snap Wellness with a sunscreen booth that I wish I had on that trip in Exuma, but check out the rest of them in this report.
So far, the expo has been great for us. I feel like they really were able to gather all of the right people in the room.
The moment you step into the room, you're met with vibrant energy, colorful displays, and entrepreneurs eager to connect. It's a dynamic mix of innovation and opportunity, from tech to handmade goods.
They contacted us at IAPA, and they said the island's undergoing a bunch of change, and there's a lot of new development coming in with some of the cruise ships and some things that are happening.
I'm enjoying the expo very much, and I'm here today just to feature Lydia's Candle creation.
We saw that there were other floating docks out on the market, but none of them really captured what we thought was the perfect system. We sought out to really design the perfect system that could work in a rough water environment.
Grand Bahama's on the high and rise, so now business has picked up. That's why 2 years ago I decided to do direct shipping from China. There's a lot of construction going on in Grand Bahama, a lot of people coming back, and homes, people building, rebuilding. So yeah, you're seeing the business coming back slowly but surely.
Snap Wellness, we invented a booth that puts your sunscreen on evenly in 10 seconds. So you can walk up to one of our kiosks, you can select your sun protection factor and your height, and then you stand still, and in 10 seconds time, it rotates you one time and puts your sunscreen on evenly.
A wonderful day here, but I'm joined by the president of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Mr. Ian Roll, and he actually believes that Grand Bahama is on the verge of a real resurgence. Mr. Roll, I want you to talk about that and just give us your overall thoughts about day one.
Yeah, so I'm very, very excited about what's happening for Freeport. You know, most persons have heard about the Carnival Cruise Port and most recently Royal Caribbean and MSC, but there's so much happening, especially in the tourism space. So this is why the Grand Bahama Port Authority and other stakeholders thought it's very important for us to expose Bahamians to the opportunities that exist.
And of course, we said it already that this is just day one. And so tomorrow we'll see a lot more. And you're especially interested in the Tourism Titans pitch competition. Talk about that.
So a number of partners would have put pool monies together with us. And I think to the tune of some $40,000. And tomorrow we'll have 5 individuals giving a pitch for prize money to start their business or to expand their existing business.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Roll. Well, Ramiko, there you have it. I'm excited about day one. I could only imagine what day two. Live from the Grand Lucayan Resort at the Freeport Business Expo Tourism Edition. I'm Raven Davis. Gonna send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Raven. Now, we will have the opening of the Freeport Business Expo later in the newscast. Switching gears now, vacation rental data released last month is painting a promising picture for Grand Bahama and Abaco. The numbers show a steady increase in vacation rentals over the past 3 years. And for those in the market, it's welcomed news. Tonight, we speak with an expert in the field to find out what's driving the uptick.
With our Lucayan not being a proper full-on hotel and most of it not being usable, that's why so many people started bringing in the vacation rentals.
With the absence of a major hotel in Grand Bahama, vacation rentals by owners and platforms like Airbnb are gaining traction and cornering the market.
It's also a change for people too because of COVID and the proximity of potentially unwell people close to you or just our own concerns. People are liking the idea of having a self-contained unit, making their own food, not, you know, they can choose to mingle with others but don't have to because of where they're staying.
While some resorts are still attracting their fair share of guests, realtors like Kathy McClay say the shift is clear. Travelers are favoring short-term rentals and the demand continues to grow.
Honestly, as long as they keep their prices reasonable and don't try to be the $300 a night hotel prices, they're going to be fine. You know, because people want that option. They want to not have to pay so much.
But there's a downside as the vacation rental market thrives. Locals searching for long-term housing are being pushed out, facing higher prices and fewer options.
If the landlord has renovated, it's cost them money. So they're expecting to be able to recoup their investment, and the job market out there, what locals are making is not enough to sustain a lot of things. You know, we're getting a lot of calls for between $500 and $700 a month rentals. There's hardly any of those left, and those that are available, they're not very nice.
The challenge moving forward will be finding balance between visitor accommodations and local housing. Well, the head of the Grand Bahama Taxi Union is sounding the alarm over a surge in illegal ride-sharing operations, warning that the growing underground network of unlicensed drivers is putting public safety at risk and threatening the livelihood of licensed taxi operators. Raven Davis has this report.
They look like regular cars, and that's because they are. But more and more private drivers are turning their vehicles into unofficial taxis. While illegal, the demand for these rides continues, essentially undercutting the licensed taxi industry and putting passenger safety in the backseat.
My thing is, I want them to come and take the taxis because we have a lot of taxis. We have over 600 plus taxis out there on the road. We have enough taxis to do the service. And the same you can pay over, you can pay our taxis.
That's the stance of Tax Union President Harold Curry, who says he fully supports the recent notice from the Road Traffic Department warning the public against using these illegal ride-share services. And he says what's more troubling is how bold these so-called hackers have become.
They're on Facebook with the advertising bold like it's a licensed company. And what the people doing on the island as well, they're using SDs. They're renting SDs and Ubering, and that's how they pay their fees. But it's illegal. But it ain't for us to stop. That's for the government to stop.
Curry argues that safety should come first. Licensed taxis, he says, are vetted by the Road Traffic Department, covered by insurance, and driven by certified professionals.
When you catch a Uber, you're not covered by the insurance because your license even don't call for that. If you go in there and you can get robbed. Remember that the governor of the Bahamas just issued out about 100 plates or so? 100-something plate on the island. So if you issue 100-something plate, and then you have people who taking business on the side, that's an impact on us.
So what does he want to see happen next? Well, Curry believes that enforcement is key and that authorities already have the tools to act.
Call them when they advertise it, and they go normal, like a normal person, and when they receive fares, lock them up.
For now, he says the focus must remain on enforcement before what he calls a growing underground industry puts both livelihoods and lives at greater risk. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Thanks so much, Raven. Well, circling back to the Freeport Business Expo, which officially opened on Thursday morning with key port members, along with government officials, investors, and attendees gathering in the Grand Lucayan to mark the event open with a ceremony. Ian Roll, president of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, says that this event is to foster the entrepreneurial talents in Grand Bahama instead of looking elsewhere. Shalia Roll has that story.
Opportunities are filling the air at the 2025 Freeport Business Expo, hosted by the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Key port officials, investors, and the Minister for Grand Bahama gathering at the Grand Lucayan Resort to officially open the two-day-long event, continuing to make Grand Bahama the hub for innovation and commerce. I didn't understand what they meant from them. Freeport Business Expo officially opening its doors, marking a milestone moment for entrepreneurship and economic development in Grand Bahama. The event drew business leaders, government officials, aspiring entrepreneurs, and community members eager to explore the island's growing commercial landscape. The Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce President Dylan Knowles bringing remarks to the event, stating that without commerce there would be no sustainable living, adding that this event is for Bahamian entrepreneurs to develop bonds to cater to the tourism industry, while the U.S. Embassy says that they are continuing to foster strong relationships in the Bahamas.
We are all here as businesses to kick the tires on new and innovative products.
We've worked side by side to strengthen that relationship, and today it continues to grow. President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, says that the Freeport Business Expo was cultivated from a dream to build a brighter Grand Bahama, adding that the intention is to find the opportunities on the island instead of looking elsewhere because everything that is needed on Grand Bahama already exists.
This is our time. We stand today on the threshold of greatness. It is Grand Bahama's turnaround season. It is the season to dream bigger dreams, to write bolder plans, to take fearless action.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, also bringing remarks to further open the expo. Moxie says that the recovery of Grand Bahama is evident, while adding that patience is needed to see the full potential.
Grand Bahama, our time has come. And yes, the prospects for Grand Bahama as a leading tourism hub and investment destination are grand.
Attendees chiming in on how they feel about the expo, some even traveling from the nation's capital to take part in this event.
What I'm expecting actually is just to network with a lot of different persons.
I've gotten so many ideas since I've been here, and I'm glad I made the trip. I actually came from Nassau just for this expo.
I thought the opening ceremony was excellent, well curated, a great experience for all of the attendees this morning.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Roll.
Over the past few weeks, Abaco has been dealing with a series of spot shell fires which authorities believe are being deliberately set by residents. This according to Danny Sawyer, Fire Chief Volunteer of the Central Abaco Volunteer Firefighter Department. Sawyer states that for the past 2 days, his team has been actively responding to and extinguishing these fires. However, he notes that as soon as they contain one fire, another ignites in a different location.
Last night, we were trying to contain a fire over next to a school, and then we were there about an hour, and we got a call from the police stating that there was a fire started in Bahama, Carolina, which is a settlement to the north. Some of the firemen have been down there this morning. It's not threatening any harms. The wind's in the east now, so it's blowing into the west. It's blowing out of the communities. But what we're worried about now is the wind pushes in the south or the west, is going to come right back into the community.
Sawyer reports that fires have been ignited in multiple locations, one on Camp Abaco Road, another to the south in Spring City, one on Bahama Coral Island, and a newly lit fire in the north earlier this morning. With so many incidents happening at once, the volunteer fire chief says they're doing their best to manage the situation.
The one down south at the BPL, I don't know. Usually, either Casuarina Point or Bahama Palm Fire Department handles that. So I could text you their numbers and you could give them a call. Usually, if it's anything serious, they will call us to assist with them.
And still to come.
BTVI bringing classes to West Grand Bahama this fall. Sports highlights and more coming up after the break.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Get ready for the Freeport Business Expo Tourism Edition 2, happening May 1st and 2nd. Network, explore, and grow with top industry leaders. Register today at freeportbusinessexpo.com. Grand Lacayan invites everyone to the biggest and most elaborate Mother's Day Sunday brunch happening May 11th in the Grand Ballroom. Enjoy live music, food stations, giveaways, and special performances. Tickets are on sale now at the lobby. Call 373-1383 for more information. Third Dimension is celebrating Mother's Day with 25% off housewares. Stop by Friday, May 2nd or Saturday, May 3rd and find the perfect gift to make Mom's Day extra special. Located on Yellow Pine Street, Freeport.
Celebrate the incredible women in your life this Mother's Day. And don't forget the special offer from Cornet Bahamas. From April 16th to May 16th, enjoy a fantastic 35% off store-wide. That's right, everything you need to show your love and appreciation is on sale. Whether it's a heartfelt gift for mom, a treat for yourself, or something special for that amazing woman in your life, we've got you covered. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit any one of our stores today. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable with Cornet Bahamas.
Sizzling summer savings start early at Grand Bahama Tiles with a 25% off store-wide sale. This Friday, May 2nd and Saturday, May 3rd, catch the savings and upgrade your home decor early with sizzling summer deals. And don't miss our 35%, 40%, and 60% off summer clearance corner. It's a hot, sizzling summer store-wide sale at Grand Bahama Tiles. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. BTVI will be offering classes in West Grand Bahama this fall semester. Classes will be held at the 8 Mile Rock High School beginning September 1st, free of charge once accepted. Application deadline ends May 30th for persons of interest.
The idea is to use the high school since they have the labs, so those that are here in the West wouldn't have to travel all the way to Freeport to attend classes.
The next semester is going to be the fall semester. You can start applying. You can go online for that now. It's going to be the fall semester, which would start in August, the end of August. You have the exact date. It would be the end of August for the next intake, and it is semesterly, so that's going to run from August on to early December, and then the new semester would start again in January.
Programs such as beauty trades, business trades, information and communication technology, electronics and media trades, as well as construction and mechanical trades are just some of the courses that will be offered for students.
I encourage the citizens of West Grand Bahama at large to take advantage of the opportunity. as opportunities only live as long as the lifetime of the opportunity, and you don't know when another opportunity will present itself, and so it's best to equip yourself and to upskill yourself.
We would love to have these residents, come out and take advantage, because, hey, you only live once, and if you don't get it right, you get left behind.
I would also like to encourage all of the residents to make good use of this opportunity and come out that they will be able to empower themselves, because a better youth means a better Bahamas.
Hosting its Rising Voices Awards this coming Friday at Jubilee Cathedral with a sum total of 42 honorees, 6 of whom will be specially awarded with the Champion of Legacy Award. Committee Chair LaQuez Williams says it's vital for the local philanthropists to receive their flowers now while they can.
The Bible talks about honor and how it's important for us to honor. And sometimes they said in your own hometown, you can't even find that at times. So I believe this is an opportunity whereby we believe that as we pick out people throughout the community based on their work and their work ethics and how they're honoring God through their service, we just want to help to encourage and push them to say, man, continue to go on, go forward, because you are making a tremendous difference.
Certainly a great work there they're doing. I remember you and I was a part of the first cohort that received the awards.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, that was about 2 years ago. That's certainly a good initiative.
Absolutely. What's coming up in sports?
Coming up in sports, high school soccer kicked off yesterday. A pretty good game between LIS and St. George's. All those highlights coming up next, Nico.
All right, that's coming your way next. But first, a check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Calling all singers, musicians, songwriters, and music producers from Grand Bahama. The Ministry for Grand Bahama invites you to enter the Welcoming Home Grand Expo Song Competition. Win $5,000 for first, $3,000 for second, and $2,000 for third. Go to ministryforgb.com for competition eligibility and guidelines. The Ministry for Grand Bahama invites residents and Grand Bahamians everywhere to unite and celebrate our beautiful island in grand style at the Welcoming Home Grand Expo, July 2nd through 10th. It's a week of events that you cannot miss. Save the date and get ready for Welcoming Home.
Guys, Little Bakery presents Cake and Sing, the Mother's Day edition, Sunday, May 11th at the Oleander Room, Freeport Harbor, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Decorate a vintage-style cake while snacking on bite-sized brunch favorites. Your package will include a cake, decorating supply, brunch bite, unlimited drinks while decorating and sipping. Enjoy music by Sweet Mouth. While surprises and surprising. Gotta be 15 years or older. Limited seats available. Phone 441-9944. Happy Mother's Day. Tickets on sale April 12th.
Sizzling summer savings start early at Grand Bahama Tiles with a 25% off store-wide sale. This Friday, May 2nd and Saturday, May 3rd, catch the savings and upgrade your home decor early with sizzling summer deals. And don't miss our 35%, 40%, and 60% off summer clearance corner. It's a hot, sizzling summer store-wide sale at Grand Bahama Tiles. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
So here at ACD, we have a wide variety of medical supplies. We have walkers, we have wheelchairs, we have hospital beds, we have bath bench, we have over-the-counter medicine, we have toilet seats for your bedside. We offer physical therapy services and also lymphatic therapy. So you can come in and book your appointment and we'll make sure to set you up. And if you don't see something in the store, we can order it for you. The wheelchairs and the hospital beds, so you can rent them by the week or the month. If you're concerned about your blood pressure or your glucose level, you would come in and we can give you a testing. We also have some incontinence supplies. We have dressing and bandages. We have compression garments. So come on down and we'll be happy to serve you.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. Top in Sports High School Soccer regular season coming to a close over the next week on Grand Bahama. One of the marquee games in senior boys play was a battle between LIS and St. George's Jaguars. LIS scored the first goal, but it was St. George's Jaguars that came back and scored 4 goals to take this one. Final score was 4-1.
Actually, this is the first time I think we've beaten LIS senior boys ever. The team is good. They're together. They practice all the time, and I look for us to beat some teams. We done on top of Pool A, so now next thing we got to wait for Pool B to finish. Then we have the semifinals and then the finals, and then hopefully we win the Northern, and then hopefully we go to Nassau.
Before the game, I lose confidence in myself because they keep saying we can't beat them. They are the best. They are the best soccer team in the island, and I lost my confidence before the game started. But my friend talked to me, he pushed me, and then I gained back confidence. And then I say, let's play. The first goal we concede, I say, man, we lose. But after this, I see my team keep pushing. They foul me, I stay on the floor, they keep pushing. I get up and get back to my feet, and then for me to win the game.
Next in sports, the Grand Bahama Darts Association continuing their season play as well at various locations. The league has been growing with the playoffs right around the corner.
Play just like any other team sport where we have home and away games and we have home venues. So it's been going pretty good. We're doing, my team personally, we're kind of midstream in the A League. We have the A and B League. Hopefully we pick it up.
And finally in sports, Buddy Hield and the Warriors missed out on closing out the Rockets in Game 5 of the playoffs, losing to the Rockets 131-116. Buddy finished the game with just 4 points on 2 of 6 shooting from the field. Game 6 will be on Friday. Ladies and gents, that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
Summer savings start early at Grand Bahama Tiles with a 25% off store-wide sale. This Friday, May 2nd and Saturday, May 3rd, catch the savings and upgrade your home decor early with sizzling summer deals. And don't miss our 35%, 40%, and 60% off summer clearance corner. It's a hot, sizzling summer store-wide sale at Grand Bahama Tiles. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
Have you ever dreamed of gifting a loved one their own piece of paradise? Now, with Debco's groundbreaking gift initiative, you can turn that very dream into reality. GIFT, which stands for Generational Investment, Friends and Family Trust, is a simple yet powerful way to make property ownership more accessible. Contribute to the 10% down payment in person or team up with friends and family to make it even easier. You can even pay online via direct bank transfer, then submit the required form with just a few taps. The person you gift then enters a manageable 7-year payment plan, or they can pay in full anytime. Imagine the joy of giving the gift of ownership, a piece of the Bahamas, a piece of paradise, right at your fingertips. Now, you can gift for a birthday, a wedding, graduation, Christmas, or simply just because. With Debco's Gift Initiative, you're not just giving a gift, you're gifting a bright future. Debco, where opportunities embrace and gift ownership. Visit gbdebco.com to learn more.
Hey guys, welcome back to Health Bites. Today's episode is going to be about testosterone, which is the most important male sex hormone. This is especially for the guys. So testosterone is important. It helps to build muscle, it helps with your energy level, and of course it helps with your sex drive. So if you're feeling low energy, low sex drive, you have excess fat, they can be symptoms of low testosterone. Some ways you can increase your testosterone are by getting lots of rest, eating a healthy, balanced diet, including foods such as broccoli, tuna, and eggs. Those are 3 foods helpful for testosterone. Another way to take a testosterone booster, like this one here. Testosterone boosters help to increase your body's natural testosterone production, as well as the quality of your testosterone. Remember, if you need any of these supplements, we have them available at the Fitness Connection, locations both in Nassau and Freeport. Come check us out.
Your number 1 team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Ramiko Knowles.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
The Bahamas Tonight continues. Here's a live look at them now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the pitfalls of an evolving world. Policymakers to respond to artificial intelligence with more intricate laws. Also, find out where we are with introducing a livable wage and the challenges in doing so. And officials get down to work removing eyesores along the Montague Strip. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. With a rapid rise in artificial intelligence-generated deep fakes inundating social media sites and other clever techniques of scamming unsuspecting victims of their hard-earned money, authorities are sounding the alarm and alerting the public on what to look out for. They're also sending a strong warning to the criminals carrying out these schemes. Corvo Pyfrom starts us off tonight.
Among those impersonated in recent weeks through these AI-generated deepfakes were the Prime Minister, the Governor General, and Governor of the Central Bank. National Security Minister Wayne Munro says the scams are being used to promote bogus investment products, often linked to cryptocurrency or high-yield returns. He cautions these deepfakes are professional in appearance and convincing in tone. Precisely, he adds, what makes them dangerous.
Please be vigilant. Please be skeptical of anything that seems rushed or too good to be true. If it appears too good to be true, it probably isn't.
Law Enforcement Minister Munro told reporters today will aggressively pursue those behind this activity. Legislation he announced will be enacted to ensure the law keeps up with clever, evolving criminals.
And I say this to those behind these scams. You are breaking the law. You're targeting people in moments of economic pressure and uncertainty, and we will not tolerate it.
These investigations will be led by the Financial Crime Section of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. While the unit says it hasn't received any complaints yet, its investigations are nonetheless underway. Additionally, authorities expect an increase in these scams as the country heads into election season. And Superintendent Anthony McCartney of the Financial Crime Section says so far there's no evidence suggesting the scheme is politically motivated.
Solely financially at this time, but like I say, it's still in the preliminary stages, but that's all the indications is financially motivated.
The full weight of the law will be brought against anyone who engages in this kind of deception, whether you are behind the screen, here at home in the Bahamas, or operating from overseas. We will use the tools of international cooperation, extradition treaties, and digital forensics to find you. And we will protect our people.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
Well, it's been more than a year now since the Bahamas was delisted from the European Union's dreaded blacklist. So far, though, the country remains one of 16 states and territories on the blacklist of France, which is not only a member of the EU, but adopts its sanctions. Still, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Philip Davis, is seemingly confident that this too will end positively. His comments coming while leading off debate Wednesday on two financial bills ultimately aimed at enhancing transparency and compliance within the financial services sector and strengthening investor confidence.
You know, my Attorney General don't sit down and take these things lightly. And I suspect within the next few days, you'll be hearing from him on that subject matter as to whether or not we are still blacklisted. I can leave that to him.
And speaking of bills, two monumental pieces of legislation debated in Parliament earlier this year secure the Governor-General's approval during a ceremony this morning. Desmond Saunders tells us more from Mount Fitzwilliam.
The Governor-General, Her Excellency Dame Cynthia Pratt, putting her signature this morning on two bills, the Foreign Affairs and Foreign Service Acts, laws establishing the Department of Foreign Service to be headed by a Director General. It also provides for qualifications and hierarchy of diplomatic and consular officers and establishes the Foreign Service Committee. Having long pushed for this legislative change, Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, called it significant.
Well, it's a step kind of revolutionary in a way, because what it does is it separates the Foreign Service from the general public service, which we've been trying to do for a long time. And we finally got the lawyers to agree that it was possible to do so. And now it's to try and get the rest of the bureaucracy to accept that the position has changed. There are different terms and conditions which apply to Foreign Service officers. And so, yeah, I hope I'd be good. It's been a long time coming. And you got to say thanks to all our predecessors who worked on this in one way or next. In particular, Paul Adley, who was Minister of External Affairs and made it the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I'm quite pleased to be at the helm at this time, and I hope that those who have their eyes on this job have a vision of where it should go.
Minister Mitchell goes on to applaud the drafters of the legislation, which overall revolutionizes, governs, and regulates his ministry. Now, real work, he says, begins in seeking broad-based appeal for the Foreign Services Bill.
So once the orders are done, there'll be a period of consultation with the staff and tweaking as there is feedback from the staff on these new draft orders. This period of consultation is critical. We need to build trust, improve engagement, and create good working relationships at headquarters and the overseas missions.
Officials believe the signing is a testament to national progress, marking a clear path for professional growth for foreign officers and a transformative moment for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So today marks a new frontier for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
Ensuring workers get a decent pay for decent work, the premise behind a livable wage. The government mandated the National Tripartite Council to field recommendations on establishing the stipend, and so far, members have been meeting virtually with International Labour Organization officials in Geneva, Switzerland, to get the ball rolling. NTC Chair Sharon Martin shared more on last night's edition of The Rundown with host Clint Watson.
We have requested, the International Labour Organization formally requested the assistance in estimating the livable wage and operationalizing the livable wage for the Bahamas. The one thing that we know that has to happen for livable wage is the estimation has to be data-driven. It cannot be that we're guessing. What exists for us is that we have to look at the archipelago.
Right.
We cannot just
because it can change from island to island based on the economy.
Exactly. Cost of living on each island is different.
Yes.
So we cannot do a brush and say that this is going to be the living wage for the Bahamas.
On the local front, the council will use labor stakeholders to generate an adequate livable wage.
The Bahamas does not have a livable wage act as we have a minimum wage act. So what we're doing, we're setting together, we're putting together a wage setting committee. A committee, a board that will just ensure that persons are getting paid properly.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Irresistible taste of a KFC big deal, some people will do anything. KFC is finger-licking good.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Burying a loved one is never easy and can be a costly thing to do. NIB's funeral benefit can provide much-needed assistance during this difficult time. This one-time payment is made to the individual who paid for the funeral, or payment can be made to the funeral home in lieu of payment to an individual. To claim the funeral benefit, complete all fields of Form B51, Claim for Funeral Benefit. Provide banking details indicating where you would like your payments to be sent. A wire transfer form and a government-issued ID are required for persons residing outside the Bahamas. Ensure that your bank's branch transit number and bank account number are provided, not your debit card number. On islands where there are no banks, checks may be collected at the nearest NIB office. Lastly, the claimant must declare that all information is true. The beneficiary must be designated, and the form must be signed. The funeral benefit form is accompanied by a certified death certificate of the deceased, evidence of payment of funeral expenses, and the marriage certificate if the claim is being made on the strength of a spouse's contribution. The form should be submitted within 6 months after death of the deceased. For more information, visit the NIB website at nib-bahamas.com.
Of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
Well, you're looking at a shot there of Palmdale, that shot heading south where you can see central and southern New Providence. That shot courtesy of our drone pilot, Neville Smith. Welcome back. Bahamian doctors on the cutting edge of medical technology. Physicians from across the country are meeting in conference this week to discuss the latest developments in healthcare. The doctors are also working closely with the government to implement changes to the new National Health Insurance Plan and on other key projects. President of the Medical Association, Dr. Gemma Rowe, emphasized the vital role of doctors in national development.
Physicians are pretty much involved in almost everything that happens in country. There are developments being made in our national health insurance that is to provide coverage for all and increase access to care. When we think about the cannabis legislature, we think about regenerative therapies, we think about domestic violence campaigns, the abuse of women and children. Physicians play an integral role in this, okay? And then also when we think about the major cause of premature death in this country, physicians, right, are at the forefront.
Among the speakers, Dr. Nakisha Dennis, an expert in her field, who highlighted the importance of prevention in tackling non-communicable diseases like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and hypertension that continue to silently impact communities across the country.
Non-communicable diseases probably are about 75% of the reason why we have premature deaths in this country and in the Caribbean region in general. And the real truth of the matter is that these things can be easily preventable if we make some changes in the way that we take care of ourselves, both as physicians and for our patients. And that's one of the reasons why primary care is also so important, because those are the gatekeepers for health.
And speaking of cutting edge, there's a game changer in the delivery of local health care. Pregnant women, all too familiar with a yellow card capturing pertinent health information that allows a physician to make any decision should there be a challenge. In walks SIP+, a perinatal informational digitized system. And according to Acting Director of the Department of Public Health, Dr. Philip Swan, here's the benefit of that.
Physicians, when they see the patient, they can put this information in the system so that whenever this patient now appears for health care at facilities that have access to the system, they're able to see what's happening with this woman. She has the card on her most times, but sometimes she might dash her to the food store, dash her to the hairdresser, just go to a relative and forget the card, and something happens. She turns up to the emergency room, or she turns up to the antenatal, the labor ward, and there's no information in the system for her. So, you know, that slows down the time in which you have to get the type of help that she needs. With the digitized process, she would have that information in the health system, as well as there is an app on the phone that she can also have some of this information, but we're finalizing that actual app in the country so that she'll have that information on the phone at the same time.
But with all the advancements in healthcare, why only now? Why did it take this long to be introduced to the Bahamas, especially considering the system was finalized years ago?
Have to have the capacity in country, the networking, the servers, so that we can be able to share that information, or have a server that has that information. Then they have to train the staff, and they have to be, of course, they have to adapt the process and then use it in the way that it needs to be used, which means the data has to be complete once it's in the system. And that has always been a challenge for us, even the paper documentation. So we're working through the targeted population, target healthcare workers, to ensure that they understand the importance of completing this form appropriately and completely, so that the data is available for analysis, data for treatment as we move forward.
In other news, Defense Force officers with plans forced to cancel them immediately. That directive for all those on leave, with the exception of those on secondment, sick leave, special leave, compassionate leave, approved international study leave, administrative leave, or pre-retirement leave. Personnel attached to the Coral Harbor base are to report for duty on Friday, May 2nd at 0840 hours. Those attached to the various outposts like Harbor Patrol Unit, Port Security Air Wing Unit, the Military Police and Force Protection and MACA units not scheduled for duty at 0800 hours tomorrow are to also report to Coral Harbor at 0840 hours. Well, the Beaches and Parks Authority ramping up efforts to restore order and aesthetics to public spaces. The authority recently launched the second phase of a targeted initiative to remove unlicensed posters and billboards across several key areas in New Providence. West Calix Forbes has more.
Actively undergoing phase 2 of its sign removal program, Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority Executive Chairman Michael Barnaby wasted no time physically removing several unauthorized signs.
Today we are located on Montague, where we're starting the second phase of our billboard initiative, which encompasses removing all of the illegal billboards and the relocation of billboards that were erected with consent.
From Montague Beach in eastern New Providence, headed west to Saunders Beach, crossing over to the south at Carmichael Road, then to R.M. Bailey Park in the central quadrant. Phase 1 involves scouting these illegally mounted displays and issued formal notice to the responsible individuals or businesses. Once removed, the posters and billboards are transported to beaches and parks locations where owners have 2 to 4 weeks window to collect their materials before they're discarded. In addition to addressing sign violations, Chairman Barnaby revealed illegal vendoring is next on their enforcement agenda. This targets individuals who sell goods or services on the street side without required permits.
Yes, illegal vendoring. Well, there's some people that just set up shop without an authorization and they start street side vendoring without the proper permits. So we want to ensure that those persons come in. It's not us being overly aggressive because the permits are very affordable.
What sets this initiative apart is the financial motivation behind it. Barnaby shares billboards are the primary stream of income.
At Parks and Beaches, we provide permits to the public to erect billboard signs, and this is one of our top revenue earners at the authority. One of the things that we want to do is ensure that we are able to raise revenue because at Parks and Beaches we don't have medical insurances yet.
Beaches and Parks Authority are urging businesses and individuals to verify the required approval before setting up advertisements, as enforcement effort will continue throughout the capital in the upcoming weeks and months. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Wes Calix Forbes.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Full Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
We're all in this boat together. It takes a team to do it. It doesn't take one person or 3 people, 5 people. It takes a team of people to pull this thing off.
We have about 72 employees in Freeport, and the rest are in Nassau, Abelkona, Luthra, a total of over 165.
A lot of people are not aware that SANS is brewed here in the Bahamas. It's made, it's produced here in Grand Bahama Island after Dorian, and especially during the pandemic. Every time I saw a bottle of beer, every time I saw a SANS product, it represented resilience.
The only thing I can say to the Bahamian people is to support your own.
All of us are in this boat together, our staff, the country, everyone. And we've been through a lot of rough patches, taking on water, bail the water out, and now it's time to be sailing forward. And we need everyone's support to make that happen.
Are you straight? Bro, I ain't getting no service. I can't make no calls. I can't post nothing on my stories. I don't get it.
Wait, you went on a live? Shad, come, let's fix that. Come. This one needs saving. Pour them over, please.
Say less. Sign up today. Enjoy 5 gigs on us with select prepaid plans when you port your number to Alive, or 3 months free Alive Fiber services when you port your landline.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
A Bahamian delegation attending the recent multi-sectoral trade mission to Africa returned home full of optimism of the opportunities awaiting the Bahamas as it pursues alternative trading partners. The week-long trade mission in Ghana brought together representatives from more than 70 countries, including Asia Pacific, the Americas, and Europe, to explore multiple industries with a focus on agriculture, renewable energy, water and infrastructure, and the waste industry. Africa is one of the globe's fastest growing markets, with many sectors largely untapped. And according to Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Grand Bahama and West Grand Bahama and Bimini MP Kingsley Smith, who was part of the Bahamian delegation there, opportunities for the Bahamas to do trade with Ghana are boundless.
Africa is a big market, a lot of potential.
And so what we are seeking to do, along with the association that put on the trade show in Ghana, is how do we connect both countries directly from Ghana straight into the Bahamas. And so these are the type of activities that we are seeking to accomplish in Ghana. You know, they're rich on some products, cocoa and lumber, etc., cement. So these are the kind of opportunities that we could seek.
Mr. Smith's encouraging the local business community, particularly in Grand Bahama, to jump on board. As he says, plans are materializing quickly.
What is happening now with the association is they already have routes, but it's not as frequent. And so they're trying to find ways to increase transshipment. Also, air traffic cargo into to the Bahamas. So I was made aware that there is a shipment of goods coming in. So Bahamian entrepreneurs, business owners who have businesses and want to tap into that market, some people are already taking advantage of it. And so in another month or so, you will see a shipment of goods coming in directly from Ghana.
Donna Marlena now join us live for a sneak peek of Access Now. Ladies, tonight I see we're all in sync, and this is probably the only time it's okay to have the blues.
Definitely so, but I want to ask you, Marlena, a question. Have you ever heard of CMOS toiletries?
No.
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 Soaps and lotion?
No. No, you're throwing us there for a loop.
No. I spoke with the healthy and savory owner, and she's told me all about it, so you'll be able to see it in Access Now.
Can't wait. Yeah. Well, stay with us. Our national report continues after this.
Diet-friendly special.
Do you ever just want more?
But wait, there's Marco's! Introducing the More Marco's menu, packed with your favorites starting at just $6. Like our warm, golden baked cheesy bread, crispy stuffed pozole. How about a hot, fresh, medium one-topping pizza, subs, calzones, pizza bowls, and more. Starting at just $6. Certain restrictions apply. More variety, more value, more Marco's. Order today at Marco's Pizza, Bahamas.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new room?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Fitzwilliam, the venue for 139 young men who met at Government House to hear from several leaders in hope of securing a better and brighter future. We go now to our Lloyd Allen for the story.
A first of its kind, a boys' conference and retreat organized by the country's Governor General. The event held at Mount Fitzwilliam, bringing together more than 139 youngsters from across the country with varying ability levels. And according to the Governor General, the goal is success. The Governor General claims that as a former teacher and mentor, she understands the challenges faced by young people and created the program to inspire each of them.
I want to take a moment to express my personal passion for seeing boys and the men of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas excel in life. That's what I want to see.
The Governor General's Boys Conference is supported by a team of leaders, one of which is anti-violence activist Dr. Eric Fox, who confirms the two-day event is beyond a hit-and-run kind of experience.
So we plan to do follow-up. We plan because we got the names and the parents and all of the young men, and they came from the islands with chaperones, so we have a connection on how we're going to be following up.
We also spoke with a number of participants who say regardless of how they ended up a part of the program, they're simply hopeful to grow.
Honestly, it's a good thing because I get to meet the Governor General and get a little more discipline on what I do and get focused on my work.
When I graduate, I want to join the Defense Force. So that's basically what I want to do. Because I just see Ades is a person who really like that area. So working towards that.
I'm the best in school and in grades, so I'd see them if I came here, do better, they'd be proud of me.
Apart from a series of speakers, the conference is set to conclude with the Business Careers Fair on Friday at Government House, hoping to take these young men one step closer to securing a brighter future. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. Some truly positive news there. And that does it for the National Report. But stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents the Legends of Breaking Straight. Get ready for the biggest names in Bahamian music live on stage. KB, Funky D, Gino D, D-Mac, Sweet Emily, Simeon Alton, Veronica Bishop, and more like the Singing Bishop. Mark your calendars for Saturday, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road. Gates open at 6 p.m. General admission 80, VIP 120. Tickets available at Missouri, Bookkeeper and at the Beauty Shack. Low location. Skyboxes and Skypod. Call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Saturday, May 10th. Come by boat and play and experience the Legends of Breaking Straight. Brought to you by Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, ESC Distributors, Missouri, The Plug, The Beauty Shack, Bahama Sea, Bookie Brand, and Caribbean Wines and Spirits.
Good to glow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow.
The Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation hosted its 4th annual Taste and Tell Food Expo on April 26th at the Western Esplanade.
We want to make sure Bahamians are represented, because when you go around the world, you don't see us. And so the more that we can import in our own, the better it would be. And I believe in buying Bahamian, because when you're buying Bahamian, you're helping to generate the economy. And so that's what we want to do. We don't want to just be able to buy a foreign Jeffrey peanut butter or something. We could buy Eddie's peanut butter. Local. Local is what we should be focusing on, because it's going to come to time one day that we're not going to be able to get food from elsewhere. So we have to focus on us as Bahamians.
The event showcased over 40 Bahamian food processors from islands including New Providence, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Cat Island, offering a diverse array of locally made products such as jellies, jams, seasonings, sauces, juices, sea moss products, and wines.
This is my curry powder. My mom's recipe. This is my mango chutney. I've been making this for over 20 years.
Rain Punch is a new Bahamian beverage, and our latest flavor is the ginger lemonade, which is really popular. We're selling out actually.
Agriculture Minister Jomo Campbell was also spotted at the festivities, bravely sampling a few of the spicier offerings. And judging by the glisten on his brow, they definitely brought the heat.
What is this sampling here now? This is our gold pepper, pleasant chips, grown here in the Bahamas, made here in the Bahamas, packaged here in the Bahamas. It's
gotta take me to the store and don't pepper.
BAIC's initiative remains a driving force behind the rise of Bahamian entrepreneurship and culinary creativity, fueling growth and innovation across the nation's food industry. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Felicity Darville continues to explore Ghana. The details straight ahead.
And the Big Red Machine is on the move with Heritage Day. Mr. Sunshine has the story.
Plus, Seymour's toiletries are a must. Stay close for that.
And coming up in sports, our Swanson wins Reporter of the Year in college.
Bahamas Tonight Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
Seymour's toiletries is a must, Marlena.
That's a story coming up, isn't it? Can you tell me about it, LaDawn? It sounds really interesting.
I'll tell you a little bit about it, but I think you're going to have to wait, just like the rest of the world, to endure the anticipation of waiting. I'm not going to spoil it, so let's dive right into the news, shall we? Felicity Darville has been on a mission in Ghana for the Afro-Caribbean Global Business Trade Show and took some time out to explore Accra, the capital of Ghana, powered by culture, heartbeat of the people. Here's a report.
When the drums of Africa ring, you feel it in your heart, literally. There is nothing that the people of Ghana do without an injection of heart and soul. Their vibrant culture is expressed in every aspect of their lives. Stunning artwork portray a rich history marked since the beginning of human time. Delicately carved wood and brass sculptures depict a rich people who live in the land of gold. Colorful paintings come alive. Everything tells a story without words. They often eat with their hands after washing them, digging into rich soups and stews with fresh organic meats and fish, as Ghana is a coastal country. No matter where you are from, the people of Ghana accept you with open arms and will dance to greet you. And that's what it's all about. Reporting from Accra, Ghana for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
Amazing story. Thanks, Felicity. Well, the Big Red Machine, St. Augustine's College, hosting its Heritage Day today. Our Mr. Sunshine, Tajaro Hudson, stopped by to see what the Big Red Affair was all about. Here's his story.
Students of St. Augustine's College enjoyed several cultural performances today as they celebrated their annual Bahamian Week. Dressed in their aquamarine, black, and gold, the students were reminded to be proud of their culture, their country, and their heritage.
Today is our annual convocation where we always have a guest speaker and a guest performer. We want to remind our students, residents, and citizens of the country who work here at St. Augustine's College that we live in the most beautiful country in the world. And we want to appreciate all things Bahamian. We want to teach our kids an appreciation for what God has done for us by giving us this beautiful country.
Today is a prime example of not just educating our students, but also instilling in them a sense of pride for our culture. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Tajaro Hudson.
Thanks a lot, Tajaro. Well, in a strategic move to cultivate the next generation of tourism entrepreneurs, the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, through its Tourism Development Corporation, hosted an inaugural youth symposium. The initiative aims to instill a business mindset in Bahamian high school students, encouraging them to explore entrepreneurial opportunities within the nation's vital tourism sector.
It's about also, next steps, fleshing out their ideas, helping to develop their businesses. TDC, has a wide range of services that we can provide, from technical support to marketing to business development, business plan writing. So, it's about taking these persons now that step up and taking them to the next step, next phase, next level.
The Bahamas welcomed a record-breaking 11.22 million international visitors. This represents a significant 16.2% increase from the 9.65 million arrivals in 2023. Dwayne Gibson, Director of Operations for Product Development at the TDC, shares this growth and underscores the sector's significance and the potential opportunities available for all, even young entrepreneurs, to get involved. But many don't take the opportunity.
So I think it's just maybe the fear. Persons, they want to get into business, but they're a little bit trepid about taking that step and venturing out and really exploring and fully letting their ideas come to fruition. So it's about just being there and being available to persons, and persons understanding that TDC is around and that we are here to help you develop your ideas in the tourism space. Embrace every opportunity. We have a wonderful country. We're culturally very strong. We're very warm, hospitable people. The tourism space, I think, is going to be around for a while, so embrace it. Look for those opportunities in that industry.
The ever-popular Sea Moss brand adding some new products to its list in the hopes of bringing some relief to thousands of Bahamians battling non-communicable diseases. LaDawn caught up with a new business owner to find out what's new on the market.
Lotions, soap, vitamin capsules, and even a soft drink to wash down that scrumptious meal in the day or at night is another added mix to the local Sea Moss brand. The toiletries and juices infused in many different flavors can be found tucked away on shelves at the Prescription Parlor Pharmacy and several other stores around town. Owner of Healthy and Savory, Akia Knowles, says Bahamians are buying into the health benefits Sea Moss has to offer.
So we carry 3 types of sea moss. We carry the gold, we carry the purple, and we carry the green. So in all of our products, you will find these sea mosses. Now, what the gold does is that's a detoxifier, antioxidant for the body. It cleanses the blood, it repairs DNA. With the purple sea moss, that is an antioxidant as well, but I like to call that one the fruit of the sea. It's purple, and when you think of fruits, you think of blueberries, that sort of thing. So it's antioxidant, and it's very good for fighting against tumors, cancers, and that's
considered a superfood. Sea moss has about 99 of the 102 vitamins and minerals needed to keep our bodies healthy. Knowles, who's only been an entrepreneur for about a year, says she's excited to bring these must-haves to the Bahamian market.
We wanted to create something that a lot of people are needing. For example, a lot of people need health care or skin care. So we focused on the skin care aspect of it, and instead of doing everything that everybody was doing. So we dared to just do something different, but still with the same health properties.
With some remarkable success stories of persons seeing positive results of the products yet to be told, Knowles says she hopes to one day explore the opportunity of having her products go global.
I have a stage 4 cancer patient that has been using our products, and with our lotion, he had scars that would not heal until he started using our lotion. So when he started using our lotion, the scars started to heal. He's been taking our pills religiously, and he's seeing transformation.
Akia, one of the vocalists of the Encore band, says operating a business comes with some challenges, but the reward is bringing some relief to those who can benefit from it.
Still to come, our Family Island segment is on the way. Stay close.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. ATC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
For us at the Myers Group of restaurants, we found that we have a pretty large portion of our employment pool that had difficulty getting bank accounts.
The issue we had previously was just getting cash, getting funds on the island. And with only one working ATM, the idea of the sand dollar, just in being digital. And everybody has a smartphone nowadays. It actually works into our favor.
The sand dollar was like a godsend because it allowed us to add it to our payroll system, which means we're able to send their money to the sand dollar wallet.
It's still a bank transfer because you get an account number. So from the employer side of things, all I have to do is send your funds just as usual.
It opens up our pool for us to be able to hire some of the people that we couldn't hire before because they were unable to open bank accounts. This has been a really good solution.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is producing work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
This beautiful shot, there are even some ladies there gathered. Antonius Roberts' original Sacred Space project. As for us, let's take a look at what's happening on our family islands.
Officials of the National Tripartite Council are making every attempt to remove the Nassau-centric brand to their operations and move to a more national approach. Council member Quentin LaRota credits the work of Chairman Sharon Martin for ensuring that all Family Island labor issues are placed on the table.
Even though we have two chambers of commerce from Grand Bahama and Nassau at the table, she's expanded her reach. We reach out to Bimini and to Eleuthera. We're trying to get this broad-based approach to get input from everybody so that all of the stakeholders could feel that they are valued and they're making a contribution to national development through the NTC.
Welcome back. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Supermarkets. Simple value case free eggs, 1 dozen, $2.99. Hot-cross buns, 9-pack, $8.99. Ginger Evans flour, 5.5 pounds, $3.69. Bacteria pastas, assorted, 14 ounces, $4.89. Sweet strawberries, 1 pound, $4.99. Whole chicken wings, $1.69 per pound. Join the new Simple Value Quality Points program at any Simple Value and Quality supermarkets.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, at Shop Smart, at Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
Celebrate the incredible women in your life this Mother's Day. And don't forget the special offer from Cornet Bahamas. From April 16th to May 16th, enjoy a fantastic 35% off store-wide. That's right, everything you need to show your love and appreciation is on sale. Whether it's a heartfelt gift for mom, a treat for yourself, or something special for that amazing woman in your life, we've got you covered. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit any one of our stores today. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable with Cornet Bahamas.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at a service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk a catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
Congratulations to the Bahamian Carifta track and field and swim teams from the sponsors of the ZNS Radio and TV Carifta Update.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports in Access. Now, I'm Charles Fisher. I'm so proud tonight. Our intern, Swanson Gibson Jr., doing big things over there in Florida. Yes, our intern for the last 3 years, Swanson Gibson Jr., is doing big things at Lynn College in Florida. Recently, at the end of the year awards banquet, was named Reporter of the Year. Quite an accomplishment, mixing between news and sports.
It means a lot to be recognized as Reporter of the Year here at Lynn University iPulse News. There's a lot of great personnel here, both in front and behind the camera, so being distinguished and recognized with a reward of this caliber, it means a whole lot. As an international student, it could get kind of hard being away from home for long periods, so getting an award like this every now and then, it kind of shows you that your efforts aren't going in vain and that you are working towards something greater in the long run. I'm grateful to God for the gift of storytelling. I cover a wide range of stories here: sports, hard news, on-campus events. In terms of the support I've received from my professors and other faculty members here, it's brought immense value to my life, not just from a professional standpoint, but from a personal standpoint as well. We would have had professors who would have worked at ABC News, NBC News, so their expertise is unparalleled. I take their advice in high regards. Regarding ZNS, that would have been the catalyst for my career. Everything that I learned within the field there, I apply here every single day within iPulse. So also a huge shout out to my family back home, my ZNS family, and I'll be back soon. So yeah, see you then.
The Carifta Swim Championships are all done with, but tonight we feature a young man who made a splash in his final year of eligibility.
In his final run as a Carifta swimmer, Caden Wells spent his time as team captain, uplifting all of his teammates during the 38th Carifta Aquatics Championships over in Trinidad and Tobago. But he doesn't leave empty-handed. On the final day of competition, Wells hauled in gold in the 15-17 boys 100-meter breaststroke. He also comes away as a bronze medalist in the 200-meter breaststroke, while also helping the 15-17 boys win silver in the 400-meter freestyle relay and the 400-meter medley relay.
I think I've been doing pretty well. I've really just been trying to drop time, help us win, get us points where we usually wouldn't get. I was in the 2IM by myself, so I tried to, place as high as I could so we didn't miss out on any points in that event. Same thing for 2 breast and 4IM. And Will also did a great job.
The team secured their 7th straight Carifta title, and he believes reaching that number motivated the team across the board.
I don't think anyone's been holding back, and that's exactly what I was expecting to happen. I mean, I'd been saying I expected nothing but the best from my team, and they've obviously delivered.
Headed into that final day of competition, Wells just wanted his team and those in the final year of Carifta to enjoy the moment.
I really just want everyone to have fun, especially the team captains that don't have Carifta again next year like me. We still want to, push to the finish line and try our hardest, but at the end of the day, this meet is about dropping your times, having fun with your friends on the team, and just having a good experience overall. So I would just urge everyone to not stress themselves out going into the final day, because that's the last thing that we need right now.
For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Shane Stubbs.
And that's going to put a wrap on your first look at sports in Access now. Make sure to tune into the Bahamas tonight for much more.
Congratulations to the Bahamian Carifta track and field and swim teams from the sponsors of the ZNS Radio and TV Carifta Update.
At RBC, we're proud to support Alive's Ultimate Business Makeover campaign for a second year. We know that micro, small, and medium businesses are vital to our economy. They drive innovation, and more importantly, they create jobs. By investing in their growth, we're fostering economic success, and together we can pave the road to a thriving business community.
What? You don't know who TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, but the Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You heard what they say, boy? Oh, yeah. Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do? What does do? Wait, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Here at Solomon's, we don't just believe in great brands. We believe in creating unforgettable memories and celebrating everyday living with you and your family. Every aisle is filled with all you need. A great value with variety and a selection of all your favorite groceries and products. Saving you time and keeping you on a budget. Great food changes everything. Shop at your local Solomon's for food, for family, for you.
It's time now for your Access weather forecast, and as you can see on our live weather radar, dry conditions continue around the islands, but there is some relief on the way. There is a low-level trough that will move through the northwest Bahamas beginning on Sunday, and that will carry over into the early part of next week, triggering a couple of showers in spots. And as far as your boating forecast is concerned, it's brought to you by Live Business, where we bulk up your business. For the northwestern islands tonight, easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide takes place at 11:59, and for the central and southeastern islands tonight, northeast to east at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet with a moderate chop in place. So we continue to keep that caution flag in place for the central and southeastern islands tonight. Now tomorrow, which is Friday, right through Saturday in the northwestern islands, the winds continue out of the east at 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide tomorrow, 6:33 in the morning with a high tide at 12:25 in the afternoon. Now for the central and southeastern islands, tomorrow and Saturday, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, the wave height 3 to 6 feet. Caution flags continue for the central and southeastern islands on Friday and Saturday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Everybody jump, fling them, flag them up in the air, wave them, flag them up in the air, fling them, flag them up in the air, fling them, flag them up in the air. It's time to lose my mind, cause it's my time. All this liquor up in me, feeling nice. All this something up in here, and they taking wine. So back this thing up, y'all, let me mash it from behind.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. LaDawn and Melina.
Thanks a lot, Basil. No extreme heat as yet. I see we're still rocking the cool weather, Melina.
Yes, very grateful, but summer is on the way, and so is Let's Talk Socials with Destiny Reed.
Hello, everyone, or should I say hard go by. My name is Destiny Reed, filling in for Matea Cunningham, and welcome to Let's Talk Socials. Today, we're spotlighting a brand that's all about celebrating all things Bahamian. Does the name As a Bahamian Boy ring a bell? According to their website, As a Bahamian Boy is more than just a name. It's a movement. They're dedicated to creating a space where Bahamian culture and identity can truly shine. From vibrant graphics to creative photos and videos, their content is a full-on love letter to the 242. And it doesn't stop there. They even have a clothing line that lets you wear your pride out loud. Most recently, they dropped a video that dives into something we all know but may not think too deeply about. The correct Bahamian way to say good morning. Check it out.
Hi. Hi. Morning. These young people have got no manners. Morning, morning, morning. Morning, morning, morning. Morning, morning, morning. Morning, morning, morning. I always thought you ain't got no product seed.
Whether you're born here or just love the culture, as a Bahamian boy reminds us that there's beauty in our roots and it deserves to be showcased. That's it for this installment of Let's Talk Socials. My name is Destiny Reed and I will be here all of next week.
Thanks a lot, Destiny. Well, that does it for Access Now this evening.
Yes, we're done, but make sure to stay tuned for the Thursday night edition of The Rundown with Ahmad Rashad.
Good night, everybody.
The Hidden Disabilities Sunflower is a globally recognized symbol for persons with invisible disabilities.
The sunflower lanyard made our journey less stressful, smoother, and more inclusive.
REACH is proud to support the Hidden Sunflower Scheme, which makes the invisible visible. So far, the Nassau Airport Authority and the Nassau Cruise Port are sunflower certified.
So if you see someone with a sunflower lanyard, always remember to be patient and ask if they need some help. Please be kind and always remember to show respect.
We wish to encourage more hotel operators with amenities such as water parks, restaurants, cinemas, government offices to join this initiative, making the Bahamas a more sunflower-friendly country.
Please feel free to reach out to the REACH office at 328-4123, or you can reach out to the National Commissions for Persons with Disabilities at 396-8700.
Join us each Sunday at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m. for Legends, the Untold Story, here on the ZNS Television Network.
It's a joy, to help someone who is in need,
I'm proud to know that we are able to accommodate them with a hot meal, fresh meal, and a well-balanced meal.
A lot of our clients, as you know, it's in the inner city and persons who really include and so much have lost their job. And for whatever reason, 2 months, 3 months, they really don't have anything. You have to have some kind of kindness to do this.
Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm your national anchor, Makush Lopinder.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine one.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
This is The Rundown, giving you the story behind the story with a new perspective every Thursday with host Ahmad Rashad Thompson. This is The Rundown.
In Harbour Island, North Middlesbrough, I'm Charles Fisher. This is ZNS.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, leaders of every generation, good evening. Welcome to the Rundown on Leadership. I am your host, Ahmad Ishar Thompson, and I am thrilled, and I do mean thrilled, that you've decided to spend your Thursday night with us here on the Rundown on Leadership. And to our global leaders tuning in online, drop your city or country in the comments. We want to hear from you. We want you to let us know where you're from, where you're tuning in from, and why it's important that you're in this conversation today. Because these conversations, ladies and gentlemen, are a movement. They stretch beyond borders, they're beyond generations and beyond perspectives. This isn't just another talk show, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Rundown on Leadership, where we don't just talk leadership, we elevate it. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, where's Clint tonight? Don't worry. There's no need to adjust your screen, refresh your feed, or check your Wi-Fi. This is a Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. That means we shift the focus to all things leadership. This might be your first Thursday night with us in a while, so let me bring you up to speed. Every Thursday night, we're showing up right here to have bold, necessary conversations about what it really takes to lead in life, in business, and in a world that desperately needs direction. Now, let me be radically clear, ladies and gentlemen. We are facing, without question, a global leadership crisis. It's getting harder and harder to find the kind of leadership that we need right now. Leadership that's rooted in authenticity, humility, strategy, and humanity. And with all that in mind, I have a question for you. Open your mind's eye and think for a moment. Have you ever worked for or with a leader who was just a catastrophe? I mean just a disaster. The kind of leader that disregards, berates, and demeans their employees rather than uplift, motivate, and empower them. You know the type very well. You could smell them right now. The leader who underestimates how important the psychological safety of their teams really is. The truth is, so many leaders mismanage the opportunities they have to demonstrate humanity and leadership and lead into the power of vulnerability. That's why this show exists, ladies and gentlemen. We're not just here to point fingers at the problem. We're here to spark change, stir hearts, and equip you with the mindset, the tools, and the truth to rise and lead well. And tonight's show is a special one, not just because of our guest, not just because of the conversation, but because of the timing. Today is May 1st, the first day of Mental Health Awareness Month. And while the world is finally catching up to the truth that mental health is health, the workplace remains one of the greatest pressure cookers for emotional strain for employees at all levels. Here are the facts. According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, 1 in 5 employees experience a mental health condition each year. A 2023 Work and Wellbeing Survey facilitated by the American Psychological Association revealed that more than 75% of employees say workplace stress affects their mental health. In a 2023 Mental Health at Work report, it was discovered that 81% of employees say they'll be looking for workplaces that support mental health, and a mere 24% of employees believe that their companies care about their well-being. This is according to Gallup's State of the Workplace in 2023. Employees today aren't prepared to put up with the same old, same old. They are prioritizing their mental health in more ways than one. But when the storm hits, that's when it gets real. That's why tonight's show is so important. We're talking about mental health and why it needs to be a part of a leader's strategic plan and how to anchor well-being as a non-negotiable rather than an afterthought. Because leadership is not about having all the answers. It's not about showing up and being boastful. It's about showing up for your team when the questions get hard. So lean in, get your notebook, and prepare to shift your mindset and sharpen your mission. This is the Rundown on Leadership, and tonight we're talking about mental health in the workplace. Don't blink, the breakthrough's next.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40 odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
We seem to remember our athletes when they make us proud at the finish line. Throw a Junkanoo parade when they return home, toss them a few dollars, and then forget about them until the next Members of the prestigious Fourth Estate should never sell themselves to any politician. Instead, keep their hands and noses clean in order to publish or broadcast the unadulterated truth. Well, that's how I see it anyway.
Read as I see it, exclusively at ZNSBahamas.com. New articles premiere on Mondays at 9 a.m.
Welcome back to the Rundown on Leadership. Tonight, I'm so excited, so honored to be joined by a trusted colleague in the HR space and a silent mentor to me, Mrs. Kimberly Fraser. She's the head of HR, Talent and Development at AML Foods. Kim, first of all, thank you for joining us tonight. We are so excited to have you here to have this conversation about mental health, well-being in the workplace, and why it's important to prioritize that in this day and age. Kim, tell me, what does mental health in your mind mean, and how should organizations and leaders be prioritizing that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So mental health refers to an individual emotional well-being, social well-being, and their psychological well-being. And it's very important for organizations to prioritize mental health because it keeps your team resilient and it keeps your team able to perform at their very best if they have the mindset where they're not emotionally driven, where the social ills are not taking over their well-being. And so to be able to foster a culture within the organization where it is highly prioritized, same as productivity, same as the physical ability, mental health is very, very important in order to maximize potential of your team.
When you think, Kim, of the industry we work in, human resources, we are the people who are supposed to protect the people and the employer experience. Why do you think that there are still so many leaders who are absent of the fact that a healthy employee is going to be a productive employee? Why does that still plague us from time to time?
I think the mindset of some of the leaders throughout organizations are still focused a lot more on productivity. And they do not realize that productivity is not going to be sustainable unless you ensure that the well-being of your employees are at your foremost mind. And so, once again, fostering that workplace culture where mental health is a conversation, where mental health, you train on it, where the conversations are related to a stress relief, where work-life balance is something that you definitely promote within an environment is crucial.
You mentioned a topic, Kim, that I am a little bit radical against. I believe that there should be a place in the workplace for workplace fit.
Absolutely.
I think work-life balance versus work-life fit. I believe that work-life balance is in some cases a figment of our imagination. And I say that because I think that it's the responsibility of the individual to do the best they can to protect their peace, to protect their sanity, and to protect their space. Additionally, it is a strategic tool of a leader, of an organization, to demonstrate that we have your mental well-being top of mind. When you think of how organizations today, Kim, are, I guess, falling behind in this concept of workplace balance, work-life balance, what does work-life balance actually mean, and what should organizations be doing to enhance that?
Well, definitely work-life balance is making sure, like you say, one is able to prioritize, right? You have to know when to turn on and turn off in order to have that frame of mind for you to be able to give the attention in your personal space as well as on the job. And so it first starts with you as an individual, ensuring that you protect yourself. And then secondly, of course, it's ensuring that the employer or the organization is one who are also protecting their employees and who are able to understand and see when there is an employee that is not well, right? And so it's demonstrating that ability to learn your employees, demonstrating that ability to recognize when things aren't going right. Recognize when you have an employee who was a star performer and then all of a sudden that individual is not performing well. And so rather than you following through your disciplinary process is taking a moment and once again promoting that environment where it matters. And so I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to pull you in and find out what's going on. Is everything okay with you? And oftentimes you don't understand how an employee is going to confide in you and able to express, you know what, it's not really anything work-related, but it's what's going on in my personal life that is causing me not to be my best version of myself in this environment or in the organization.
Now, Kim, you are talking about humanity and leadership. That specific point references what it means to be a human being in leadership, looking after the well-being of those you get the privilege and honor of leading.
Absolutely.
But you're also talking about a contrast to our cultural upbringing, where you don't come to work to make friends, where my business is my business. What right does a leader have to infringe, to ask questions, to lean in when they recognize that an employee, a team member, is not their best self, it's not their usual whatever version of themselves? How do we now bridge the gap between what Grammy taught us and what now employees require and in many cases crave?
Well, I think it's all about that trust that the employee will have in you, right? It's not really infringing on their personal space or wanting to know what's going on in their personal lives, but it's creating that culture where employees they feel safe and they feel supported. And so they're going to come to you, right? They're going to be able to open up to you and to express themselves freely. And with you being an employer that has that culture embedded in your organization, where there's that open door policy, where there's that culture of we care, we want to be there for you, we want to support you in your holistic well-being, not just on the job, not just worried about you being a star performer, but what does it take for you to be a star performer? So we want you to see us as an employer, us as an organization, truly vested in making sure that you as the employee are well as a holistic individual. And so it's creating that culture where the employees feel safe so that they come to you and they don't mind opening up to you and expressing themselves.
Yes, that is so true, Kim. I can't tell you many people in my experience when relationships are fostered, when people establish a circle of truth, the fact that when you say something, it will remain with you and me.
Absolutely.
So often in our culture and even in the global workspace, employees are conscious about sharing because they feel like what they've shared will be repeated somewhere, will make national news when they advise their leader or a trusted team member that, you know, something is going on at home or family members, you know, experiencing some difficulty. When you think, Kim, though, of what it means to lead with that humanity, how do we, because saying things like open door policy and workplace well-being and workplace culture, they sound good. But so many organizations just simply put them on the website or have them on the wall. How do you actualize a place where the open door policy actually comes to life?
Well, once again, you create that culture. It's embedded in your culture, that there is the open door policy, and you live it. It's something that you're living daily. You're not just hanging it up on the wall. It's not a part of your values, but you're modeling those behavior of it being something that's utmost important to you. And the humanity part of it comes in where sometimes we just have to put ourselves in our employees' shoes. As leaders, we often, sometimes we don't realize that, hey, this is a human that we're dealing with, so we have to be empathetic. We have to sometimes take a back seat and say, you know what if it was me? What if it was my family member? Yes. How would I want to be treated? Do I want to be supported? Do I want to feel like this is a safe haven for me to be open and to be free and to express myself so that it can help me be a better employee? It does not interfere or disrupt who I can really possibly be and the value that I can bring to the organization.
Yes.
And so I see it from that angle. Yeah.
That's a very important point, because I think when employees and team members feel, when they feel this open door policy, when they feel the sense that you care for them, when you feel that they can come to you and share what's on their heart, what's on their mind, what's impacting them, then they will lean into it more.
Absolutely.
When it's just some kind of poster show or some checkbox exercise, they know it's inauthentic and they pull away. But Kim, let's shine the light on what it means to be a leader and face your own mental health challenges. And I think we also need to level set the conversation before we move any further. Mental health well-being does not necessarily mean that somebody has mental health challenges or mental health issues. It doesn't mean that somebody is mentally ill if they're prioritizing and focusing on their mental health. I put it this way. You encourage your employees on a daily basis to go to the doctor, get a physical, get physically checked out. The same is true for mental health. What do you think we need to do differently as leaders in our organizations to let employees know that we don't just prioritize the mental health and the awareness of it, but also that they should in their lives as well, you know?
Well, I would say, once again, that it has to be embedded, right? We have to live it.
Yeah.
We have to live it daily. Because in order for our organization to be well-sustained, you have to have employees that are well, and they are well in all aspects, emotionally, physically, psychologically. They must be well in order to be able to perform at their utmost best. So once again, it's living it, it's walking it, and not just talking mental health. It's not just talking employee well-being, right? We hear it all the time, but what does it truly mean to live it every day and to be true to it as an organization, that this is something that we truly value in our employees. We truly value it so that we're creating that culture, we're fostering that workplace atmosphere where mental health is priority.
Yes. Kim, as a leader, as a woman in leadership, as someone that has to navigate both your own personal challenges and leading an organization, how do leaders check in? How do leaders manage their opportunities with mental health and the well-being and prioritizing that health? Put another way, Kim, can you think of a moment in your career where disaster struck, something went awry, things didn't go as you planned, and it affected your ability to show up as a leader? How do you deal with that?
Well, first of all, it's making sure that you are, embedding a culture where you are not reactive, you are proactive.
Wow.
And so it's putting, the necessary systems in place where you're able to adapt quickly to when anything strikes. You're able to adapt to it, you're able to pivot, you're able to action or enact workflows where there's no further disruption. And so it's really making sure that you put on a proactive approach. You put things in place where when disaster strikes, you're still able to move on with little disruption, but you're able to still function at your very best. And so that's what I would say when disaster strikes. You just need to be ready, and being ready means putting the things in place before it strikes, being very proactive.
Being proactive instead of being reactive.
Absolutely.
In our culture, we are a very reactionary people. We do react when something has gone wrong, and we usually react instead of respond.
Yes.
As a leader, as someone that is at the intersection, Kim, of leading the people experience and the business experience, how do you what advice do you give to the leader that's just now starting his or her journey, that's been told or taught that the best way to lead is to be strong and strong-arm and be forceful versus humane and vulnerable and lean into the softer side of leadership, the humane side of leadership? What advice do you give that person right now?
Well, firstly, you have to lead yourself, right? You have to lead yourself. You have to make sure that your mindset is in a place where you're able to pour in. Because oftentimes, if a leader is not well in their own right, then you're not able to pour in. You're not able to lead anybody else. And so you have to stay true to yourself first, and you have to make sure focus on yourself first in order for you to be able to pour in to someone else. Secondly, I would say that you must be very willing to make the shifts yourself, right? You're not going to lead every day not facing challenges. And so you also have to be ready to make that pivot. You also have to be ready to know when it's time to for it to turn on or turn off. And so those are the two things that I would advise someone. You have to lead yourself first, and then you have to know when there's that time for you to make that shift as well.
To determine whether or not this thing is continuing to serve you, whether or not this situation, this perspective, this organization is doing the things that you need to be thriving in your role as well.
Absolutely.
That's important, Kim. When we think, Kim, of the landscape of leadership globally, so many things are happening on a daily basis. Employees are facing their own individual challenges. Organizations are facing challenges. We are now, for the first time in the history of the planet, faced with connecting with 6 generations at once in one workplace. As we wrap up this segment, Kim, what are you finding, and we'll talk about it more after we come from the break, but what are you finding, Kim, right now that's the biggest difference between the way people of a certain generation, like my father's generation, age 60 and above, and the 20-something-year-olds are dealing with and handling mental health issues right now? What's the starkest contrast you found in your experience?
I would say, back then, we had the millennials, the Gen Zs, all of those various generations. Sometimes they have that entitlement mindset. And it's okay. It's okay because nowadays it's them wanting so much more for themselves and not realizing that sometimes it takes time to get to where our parents went at a very quick manner. Back then, things have changed now, and so it's realizing that it's going to take time for you to really elevate, and so you're not entitled. And so I would see that being one of the major contrasts, where back then in our era there was more of the things were you were able to easily get, things that you wanted. Nowadays, you have to really work hard for it. And if you don't put your mind to it, the handouts are not going to be there.
The handouts are not going to be there. We're going to pick this up when we come back from the break. Please stay with us on the rundown on leadership. We return shortly.
Absolutely.
Over 3 million shipwrecks on the ocean floor, just waiting to be found. Nothing is truly ever lost at sea, only hidden by time and sand. When I put this fleet together, it wasn't just for fun. And although we do have fun, we never lose sight of our goal. Right here, right now, we are on a mission.
Join us on Social Mania, a new and dynamic game show based on the Ministry of Education's primary and junior high school social studies curriculum. Students from schools across the Bahamas go head-to-head as their knowledge of social studies is challenged. In this episode, Gambier Primary battles with Sadie Curtis Primary School. Which school will emerge as winner? To find out, join us as these two schools engage in intense competition. Don't miss it.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Welcome back to the Rundown on Leadership. We are continuing our conversation with Kimberly Fraser, Head of Human Resources, Talent and Development at AML Foods Limited. Kim, crisis and disaster. It affects in a major way the mental health and the mental health well-being of team members, of customers, of clients, and of leaders. Tell us about a time, Kim, when how has crisis shape and affect your leadership and leadership in general? When crisis breaks out, right? Where does the leader focus first?
Well, firstly, you have to assess the situation. So you have to, understand what happened, and you have to make sure that you get a clear understanding of the potential impact that this crisis is going to have on the organization. Secondly, you definitely need to communicate clearly, right? You have to be transparent and communicate what has happened. Have that reassurance that, there is a recovery plan and that everything will be okay. And then thirdly, you have to focus on your people, right? We talk about mental health, we talk about what it does and how it affects people. And so you have to ensure that your actions and the decisions that are made are helping or does not interfere with the well-being of your team members in an organization.
But Kim, that's hard to do. How do you, because you won't be able to make the perfect decision.
Absolutely.
Right? But what I'm hearing you say is that the decisions that you make, the way you approach it should be strategic, it should be people-focused, and it should also be incumbent upon understanding what the business needs at this time. Crisis can be relative, right? To one individual, they could weather the storm. To somebody else, they could crumble beneath it. How do leaders today, Kim? What should leaders be doing when their team members indicate that all is not well within the organization? They introduce a concept, a mindset. They introduce something that's taken place on the job that you have no idea of as a leader. How do you now move forward to help bring that thing to light, to bring it to resolution, and to make that employee feel seen and heard?
Yeah, well, transparency, definitely. You have to be transparent with the communication. You have to bring hope, right? It has to be some reassurance that, there is a recovery plan. We will rebound from this. And they have to see that the actions that you are implementing is one where they are reassured that everything will be okay. And so it's immediately going into action mode and putting the steps in place where you are going to build and ensure that there is a recovery process to ensure that there's continuity within the organization.
When you think, Kim, of defining moments in leadership, you have been at this for a while. You've been through the throes, I'm sure. Can you think of a defining moment in your leadership journey, Kim, that made a difference for you and caused you to kind of propel yourself through the difficulty?
Yeah. Well, absolutely, and I would refer to the latest moment. So just 2 weeks ago at my place of employment, there was a catastrophe, and it was a real defining moment, not only for me as a leader, but for all leaders within our organization. Just experiencing, what happened on that particular day, and realizing that, hey, people was of utmost focus.
Wow.
As we watch the incident unfold, it's focusing on how is everybody feeling, how is everybody doing, and then, the very next day, going into the office and having your ultimate leader, your captain, be so optimism about it being hope in the future, and already in ready mode to take action, to build, to recover. It's definitely defining. And then seeing all of the stakeholders come together and really working in a unified manner to ensure that whatever needed to happen, short term, medium term, and even long term, because as you now focus on rebuilding, you're putting the things in place that's going to propel us to that next level. And so seeing how everybody gathered and just really quickly went into recovery mode in all of our respective roles. It was a true defining moment for us. And then, you know, ensuring that our employees were well taken care of, ensuring that we you know, made it known to our employees that, hey, there's no need to be concerned. We're going to ensure that you are still treated as a valued team member within our organization. And so that was absolutely a very defining moment for me and, like I say, all of the leaders within the organization as well.
Kim, it sounds to me that you're blessed. I'll say that. Let me ask why I say that, because as the head of the people resource, the thing that really drives any business, you seem to be a part of a team that gets it. That understands that the people are not your biggest asset, but they're really your biggest responsibility.
Absolutely.
Talk to a leader, Kim, that right now may be in HR, that might be a team leader, a hiring manager, someone in a position of leadership that does not get the support they need from their other leaders, that would focus on business and loss and inventory and cost versus the souls that were impacted by this catastrophe or any other one. What do you say to that person who may be finding themselves kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place? You know, they really want to pour out and help, but their hands are tied behind their back because the strategy is always going to be cost versus souls.
Yeah, well, definitely unity is strength. And making sure that everybody stays on the same page and we focus on one goal is paramount. And without people, there's no sustainability.
Say that again.
Without people, there's no business sustainability, right? And so making sure that you understand the magnitude of how strong embedding a people-oriented culture within your organization, how that's going to propel your environment, your organization to the very next level is very, very key. And without support, you know, and all stakeholders involved, the chain is broken. It has to be the united effort to ensure that this happens. It has to be the united effort for it to work, for everybody to gather around the table, everybody to, you know, gather their collective minds, their collective thoughts in terms of what's next. What do we all have to do to make sure that this happens, to make sure that we are able to sustain, rebuild, and be better at it? It has to be collective minds that are sitting around the table making these decisions that's going to be powerful for an organization to move ahead.
It has to be collective effort. It cannot be an individual fight. It must be that the team, whether executive or junior or senior leader, leadership teams are focused on the same thing. Because the question was not, what do you pay attention to? The question was, what do you focus on? And your response was, you focus on the people that will drive this continuity or not, the people that will be affected by this or not. Because what happens, Kim, is not just the employees. We're talking about families now. Our community at large is going to be impacted by whatever has taken place. And so many of us individualize our response to people issues because we figure that's just how she go.
Yeah.
You can't mind him or her. But we don't realize that those things affect the general workplace. So let's shift our conversation and Kim to people who diminish mental health and the well-being of mentality in the workplace. Those cantankerous leaders, those cantankerous employees who are allowed, and I use the word allowed for a reason, to come every day and just run amok. How have you in your career, Kim, dealt with, managed, engaged, even the ones that are troublemakers that may be adding to the stress levels and the challenges we face in the workplace? What is your strategy to dealing with those persons who many people want to stray away from and, you know, throw their hands up at?
Well, I could tell you, I said earlier, you have to lead yourself first. And I can tell you, those cantankerous people, the ones that come to work every day and their goal is not to make it easy for someone else. They need to take a self-reflection. Something is not right with them. And so as an HR professional, it's really making sure that you surround yourself with those type of people, have the one-on-ones, you know, coach them, find out what's happening to them. Because at the end of the day, if you're a leader and you're going to be one that's not well respected, one that is cantankerous, one that employees don't want to work for, then as an organization, it's going to impact the organization.
Absolutely.
And so it's making sure that you use your gifted talent as an HR professional and try to dig deep into what's happening with that individual. See if you can be of some support to help that individual to realize what he or she is doing is not right. And who knows, that individual themselves, as leaders, we go through things ourselves. And so deep down, that may be something that's affecting that person by that individual is the way he or she is in the workplace. And so it's tapping into that, opening up that opportunity for you to be able to pour into that individual and try to see how you can get that person's mindset to shift.
Yes, that mindset is so important because we have those employees that come to work every day, Kim, fully available, fully ready, prepared to take on what needs to be taken on. But we have these individuals that are constantly and consistently, again, allowed to come in and just be and do what they please. And that will affect the employee, the workplace, will affect productivity, it will affect the business. And so many leaders, I believe, underestimate, especially if that person is a producer. Especially if, man, I can't afford to let so-and-so go because, man, she's my strongest salesperson. He's the one that gets it done all the time. I call him by any time. How do you manage that type of relationship now? Because you may be the voice of reason at the HR level. You may be the one saying, listen, Ahmad and the team are really facing challenges because Ahmad continues to show up as A. But your leadership team is saying, but Kim, Ahmad them is bringing the money, Ahmad them is bringing the so-and-so. How do you deal with that? What's your approach to that?
Yeah, that's very interesting because it happens. It definitely happens in workplaces, and it is sad that organizations find themselves in that predicament where they have to hold on because this individual has a strength that is impacting the business growth, right? The sales or profit, and so you tend to hold on to that, I would say, cancer because of that. But the widespread impact can be even more costly to an organization in so many different ways. The turnover, because nobody wants to work with that individual, that's a cost, right? And so it's really understanding that one, can definitely have a major impact throughout the entire organization amongst the team. And so it's ensuring that you stay true to the principles that whether or not that individual is, performing to the level where, there's that strength that we really can't afford to lose, you have to look at it from a holistic standpoint. What other impact is this decision to keep this individual on making having the effects in the organization?
That is so important, Kim, because what I really believe happens here is that it's a cowardly approach to leadership. When organizations decide to hold on to this cancerous person or this cancerous mindset, it's simply telling your other employees, I don't care enough about you to prioritize your safety, your psychological safety, your well-being, your productivity at work. You're letting the person, that cancerous person, if you will, you're emboldening them. You're making them feel even more empowered to do the foolishness they do every single day. And I think if leaders and organizations really understand what's the challenge here, it's the fact that the talent needs to be spread out. It's the fact that the talent needs to be cultivated. If this person is really good at what they are, as good as you say they are, there is a skill that he or she has that can be trained and taught somewhere else. Right? Versus putting up with, tolerating, allowing and enabling this person to come in and do whatever he or she says or does, or wants to do rather, and affecting the people that are trying their best to do better. Because it's simply now changing our perspective on who will now be able to sit at these tables, rewarding the right types of behavior and correcting and condemning the wrong types. In your experience, Kim, what do you believe is necessary for organizations to actually live that? You said, you've mentioned embedding it in parts of our conversation, but what specifically have you seen as a strategy that works? That people could realize, oh snap, I really have to get it together. I can't do what I've always done in the past. People are prioritizing another way of leading and working. What strategy do you employ to make that happen?
Well, definitely you take action, right? And most times, organizations have those as core values, respect, in the workplace. Those are basic core values in an organization. And once, your employees see that as an organization, that those values you're living by, then that's the strategy right there. You just have to take action. You have to ensure that those type of employees are not staying in the system. And it's like you say, there's transferable skills, there's training. That person may have a skill that somebody else can tap into. But it's making sure you put those things in place where, at the end of the day, you don't find yourself in the position where you have to hold on, but that the training is there, and you're able to identify strengths of other individuals to one day be prepared to take on that role so that you don't have to keep an individual in your environment who is of that, has that behavior, or is a type of employee that is not a good fit from a character standpoint in your organization.
Character over skill?
Character any day over skill.
Kim, character, the person, the actual spirit of the being over skill.
Absolutely, because once you have that right character, you can be taught skills. And so if that character is not one that is of, a standard that you want to say that your organization is about this standard. It's about people.
Yes.
When you're setting standards, it starts with your people first.
Yes.
You're not gonna set standards and people is not to the forefront of your mind. And so if that individual is not of the standard, then I don't need your skill.
Wow.
I don't need your skill.
Wow.
I can teach a skill to an individual, but I cannot teach your character.
You can teach a skill, but you cannot necessarily teach the will.
Absolutely.
You cannot make someone a better version of themselves.
Absolutely.
You can contribute. You can add value. You can kind of cultivate this concept of real human perspective. I frame it this way, Kim. I believe that there are 4 types of employees in any organization. There's the willing and able. There's the willing and unable. There's the unwilling and able, and the unwilling and unable. And what you described just now is perhaps the person that's willing but unable. I really, really want to. I have that character. I have that interest, that drive, but I'm struggling with the ability to do so right now. You're saying we can teach that person,
that can be taught.
Bring them up to the standard of actual performance, but the spirit they come with, we can't teach.
Yes, the will is always the plus.
So
the will.
Why do we keep, Kim, those that are unwilling and unable? The young man can't and he don't want to. Why do we keep paying him? Why does every week he show up on your payroll account to send this man some money? What do we need to do to get them from around our organizations?
Yeah, take action. We have to take action. We have to ensure that those type of employees does not continue in your environment, because it is a poison.
Yes.
And it can be a trickling effect. And if you allow those type of employees to remain, then it makes it look like this is your culture, this is what we're all about. This is the standard that we're setting.
Indeed.
If you continue to keep those type of individuals a part of your team.
And there's something about those types of employees that know they are the ones that are being talked about in every meeting. Especially when nothing comes out of the meeting except business as usual.
Yeah.
When we come back from our break, we're going to talk about what happens when that employee happens to be the leader.
Wow.
What do you do when that individual is not a regular line worker, they're not the cashier, they're not the production person, they're not the person in sales. This is the leader of the organization. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation. Your breakthrough is on the next side of this break. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community, also help with the education of our kids in this community, and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm your national anchor, Makush Lopinder.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is producing work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass it along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Welcome back to our final segment on the Rundown on Leadership with Kimberly Fraser, who is the head of Human Resources, Talent and Development at AML Foods Limited. Kim, we were talking about these 4 categories of employees. We're talking about prioritizing character over skill, right? When you find those employees, those individuals, whether they're employees at the line level or leaders, that find themselves in that unwilling and unable category. Let's talk about that for a bit more. Because the unwilling and unable employee, in most cases, is fully aware of their inability and their unwillingness. Other employees are also aware. Leaders are aware. They say things like, you can't mind so-and-so, don't pay him no attention, that's just the way he or she goes. But why do we say those things? Why do we continue to say we can't mind him when we could pay him? What do you think is the reason that leaders hold on or ignore the unwilling and the unable?
You said it earlier. You know, an individual like that may have a strength that is so impactful to the organization from the bottom line side.
Yes.
And a lot of organizations find themselves in that position when the skill of an individual it really helps propel the organization from a profitability standpoint.
Yes.
And sadly, again, you know, it impacts on the other side. And so at the end of the day, you know, it's making sure, like I say, you take action when you can take action to ensure that an employee does not continue to remain a part of your organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Kim, what happens when the cancer is coming from the top? What happens when the leader is the problem? Unequivocally, you don't have to guess. You know that it's so-and-so that's literally driving this organization down to hell, like in hell. in hell. What do you do, Kim, when you are faced with a situation where your leader, ultimate leader, I'm talking about the CEO, the president, whatever it is pitting leader against leader, is creating circumstances to make things worse off, finds value in having leaders at odds with one another? What do you do when it's the leader that's the problem?
Well, as an HR professional, you just, you know, you try to be forceful with it.
Yeah.
You get them to understand the magnitude of their actions. And that's all you really can do. It's really, shedding light to how it impacts the organization. What message are we sending to our team? What message are we sending to the wider community? Because, if you're talking about that top tier level, you mentioned lives are being impacted all around because an employee have a sister, a mother, a father, and so your image, the standards of your organization is being diminished because as the head, you're not setting that foundation where the organization is embedding that culture of respect within the workplace, of team spirit. The characteristics of you are in question. And so an organization is not going to have that reputation where, you get that respect. And so it's pulling it all together, shedding that light and helping them to really see a true picture and really, using some examples, using some real examples, walking them through, well, this is what happened because of this.
Wow.
And getting them to see it from that perspective, getting them to see it in real life scenarios. Hopefully, you would be able to tap into their mind and there can be a shift. And that's really all that you can do. But it's not taking that back seat and not addressing it and being afraid to address it. I'm not one to be afraid to address it.
Yes.
If my superior is watching, my superior can say, if there is something that is happening, I respect the fact that Kim is going to address it. And that's all that you can do. As professionals, as leaders, you cannot be afraid to have those difficult conversations, even with persons who are your superior.
Yes.
Even with persons who may not be your superior, but who are in these senior level positions, you cannot be afraid to have those hard conversations with the individual and trying to see how you can bring them to some sense of, awareness of their actions and the impact that is making in the environment or the organization that is negative.
Yeah. In your perspective, Kim, or from your perspective, when you find that, because that has to be done strategically, right? You can't, I wouldn't suggest that you just go into that conversation emotionally driven while your emotions should inform what it is that you need to discuss. Yeah. What strategy do you feel is best employed when that leader isn't necessarily someone that is willing to hear from your perspective, right? Listen, miss, this is my ship. If you wanted to just hop off versus, you know what, I value your opinion because maybe this person isn't that open. Yeah. Maybe this person is one of those, this is my way or the highway type of situations. What strategy do you employ to get that person to see your perspective and to understand what the cost is in the way they're acting?
Well, I think it's all about the respect that one have for you, where you're able to have those type of conversations. And even if the person feels like he or she is still going to continue on in the manner in which he or she is continuing on, at least they know that this is coming from somebody who I see as a respectful individual. And so hopefully that helps the individual to say, you know what, whether or not I'm not listening to Kim, whether or not, what she is saying is just, going through one ear and coming out of the next. At the end of the day, you should place yourself in the position where you're comfortable going and having that conversation because you're walking it, right? You're living the characters of, an individual who is well respected, has that reputation in the organization. And so it's really placing yourself in that position first where you feel comfortable that you can have that heart-to-heart conversation, and whether or not it goes in your favor or it goes in the organization's favor, at least you know that you've done your part in trying to help the situation and trying to bring awareness to that leader of their behavior or their actions.
Kim, as we wrap up this segment, and wrap up the show actually, do you believe that if you've come to a point where you've done all you can, you have tried the different strategies, you've even connected with different leaders on the team, you have done all you can do, as far as you can see, to make the situation better, but it's not getting any better. Does that leader, that employee, that no matter what level they find themselves at, do they have the right to leave to protect their peace?
Absolutely, and I think sometimes that happens because your peace of mind is very, very important, and sadly, it happens because you're not finding that peace in the workplace. And that's when we talk about mental health. It's, wanting to put yourself in an environment where you're supported, where it's safe, where you're respected. And so sadly, there are times that people exit themselves because they can't find it where they're at.
Wow.
And that happens. That happens a lot. And sometimes people, do it without even knowing what's next. But it's so important, and as you get older and as you have a deep understanding and appreciation for that emotional well-being, for that psychological well-being, then you find yourself really not wanting to put yourself in a position for a long term where these things are happening, and especially if it's coming from a leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kim, I want to ask you one final question as we wrap up tonight. It may be a bit off topic, but do you believe that leaders are born or made?
That's a very interesting question. I would say leaders can be born or made, and oftentimes we think that leaders are only in management level. A leader can be anybody. A leader can be a custodian. A leader can be a cashier. Leadership does not define one by their title or by their position. And so truly, I would answer that question where I feel like as a leader, you're born. You can be born you're born as a leader.
Yes.
And indeed, through experiences, a leader can be made.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, what a powerful and necessary conversation we had tonight. We often talk about leadership in terms of strategy, success, and performance, but tonight reminds us that leadership is most visible when things fall apart. When people are not doing the best they can, when things are not going as they should. When disaster strikes, when catastrophe takes place, when people are the reason the organizations are not flourishing. It's what you do next. It's the leadership that steps up with empathy, with heart, with humanity, that survives, that thrives in organizations that help themselves to be better. You do not get the right, as a leader, when catastrophe hits, when people are not doing their best, to be your worst. You do not get the right to infringe moments of insanity on your team members. When you identify those in your organization that are unwilling and unable, that are unwilling, maybe a little bit unable but unwilling, you must do the work to make that organization get better. You must, as the leader, decide that this is not going to be the legacy we stand behind. That's not just good HR, that's good leadership. That's good demonstrative leadership in the way of the workplace. And as we wrap up the conversation on what it is to be mentally conscious, to put mental health at the forefront, you must make it a priority. It is a part of your strategic plan as a leader. As we step in to Mental Health Month, as we do the thing that's going to take our organizations to the next level, it's important that you prioritize mental health, that you prioritize the safety of your employees, that you prioritize what it means to lead with truth. I want to ask you 2 questions every day. Every day you wake up, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. When I show up, what goes well? When I show up, what goes to hell? As a leader, you are contributing to both. You cannot absent yourself. You cannot absolve yourself of the things that make organizations do well or do poorly. And every single day you wake up, before you go to your bed at night, after you say your prayers, you ask yourself, when I showed up today, what went well? When I showed up today, what went to hell? Emotional intelligence is not an option anymore. It's the thing that balances process and people. It's now necessary. And even when catastrophe hits, it's the compassion, the clarity that demonstrate that these things can both coexist. If you want to build your legacy, don't just focus on what you're building, focus on who you are becoming. Because the real leaders, the ones that are not made in the spotlight, they're the ones that are made in the storm. They're the ones that show up even when things are not going the way they should. And if no one's told you lately, the way you show up for your people, when everything is falling apart, that is the legacy that they will never forget. I am so grateful that you decided to join us for this conversation tonight. Kim, it was an honor to have you this evening on the Rundown on Leadership. I believe that our people are now better off and able to now prioritize mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, leaders of all generations, we will see you next week. Same time, same mission, same fire. Until then, lead with care, Lead with heart and lead with purpose. Remember to stay locked onto the ZNS network for the Bahamas Tonight at 11 p.m. It is the final newscast in the country with the latest in news and information with Royston Jones. I am Ahmad Shah Thompson. Good evening, everyone.
At Tonic Williams Darling Highway, I'm Tijaro Hudson. This is ZNS.
It's time for Focus Forward, sponsored by Invest Grand Bahama. It's Grand Bahama's best talk show, highlighting all of the positive things happening in Freeport. Look forward to our special guests each week that will tell you about events, activities, and initiatives that are making a remarkable impact on our community. You'll also hear from local business owners and get a heads up on deals and special promotions. It's time to Focus Forward.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Grand Bahama's Best